Anybody there?
Speak to him.
I can't hear you, Gray. I am here. I hear you. I hear you, Graham. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can't hear you, Graham.
Let's try that one. Any better?
Ready?
Hey, there we go. Got there in the end. Well, it's half time already, I'm pleased to say. And as you can see, joining me on the stream tonight, I'm joined by Gnome over there and Rio over there. How you doing, gentlemen? Good to see you again. We'll start that one again. How are you? How are you doing, Rio? Good to see you. Let's bring you in first.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Thanks. 1 minute underway. Full of optimism, full of joy, and expecting to lose now.
Oh, happy days. Good stuff. Gnome, what are you thinking? You a bit more optimistic, or is this another case of an irrational hatred of Luton Town?
Could well be. First chance of the game has just happened. It went to Luton. So, yeah, while I was trying to fiddle with the phone here, it would be typical West Ham. Yeah, two very, very useful wins, and then follow it with a defeat in a game that you'd be thinking of getting something out of. So, but no, I'm thinking we'll win anyway. But yeah,
good.
So
good. Oh well, let's
I've got Jeff with me tonight as well. Do you think we'll win? Yeah. Oh, he's preparing a speech now rather than just say yes or no.
Well, there he is. How you doing, Jeff? Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're keeping well. Jeff's probably got a better guess rate of match predictions than the rest of us put together over the course of about 4 years, I think, in his few fleeting appearances. So we should probably leave the speculation to Jeff. But anyway, the game is underway. I should just point out, gentlemen, that I've got no stream at the moment. So it's entirely down to you to keep us up to date between you. So if anything,
should we make up goals then, Rio?
If there are any goals or any major incidents of note, please feel free to jump in. But until that, as we said, the game is underway. West Ham. Should we run through the teams? Rio, would you go through Luton for us?
Yeah, just bear with me 1 second while I actually bring the team up. I was unprepared for that.
It's above your head, mate. Look above your head on the telly. Look.
With my eyesight, Jesus.
He can barely read it in screen in front of him.
Yeah, I always have my eyes closed when watching us, so I'm not used to actually looking at using my eyes. So Luton lineup as follows. In goal is Kaminsky, a so-called back five, according to BBC, of Dalty, ex-West Ham player Reece Burke, Anderson, Bell and Giles. In midfield, Chong, Paddy Ruddock, who's now got a name called Nkamba, an ex-West Ham, another one. Ross Barkley.
No, got that one wrong, Rio.
I was on a bench, isn't he?
Nkamba isn't Paddy Ruddock. Mpanzu is Paddy Ruddock, and he's on the bench.
I knew it was a Scrabble buster of some
kind of isn't it?
Yeah, so Nkamba and Ross Barkley, who's formerly of a decent club, allegedly. And I do mean this. Adebayo and Morris are up front. On the bench, Ogben, Berry, Woodrow, Cabone, Petty, Ruddock and Penzu, Brown, Tim Kroll, Johnson and Francis Clark. We line up as follows. There's only 2 changes from last week's starting lineup. Areola, Vladimir Sufel, Kurt Zuma, the return of Noye for Gerd for Andrew Bonner, Emerson left back, Alvarez, Ward Prowse, Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta. Our second change is Sai Ben Rama, who starts for the concussed Thomas Soucek. And up front, Mikel Antonio. On the bench is Lucas Fabianski, Aaron Cresswell, Pablo Fornells, new signing Mohamed Kudus, Maxwell Cornet, Danny Ings, Angelo Bono, Tio Kera, and Divan and Boomer.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Rio. With a little assistance from Noma, lots of and Panzus and the like in the Luton team. I suppose we should touch on that story, really. Nome, Pelly, as we'll call him.
Yeah.
First player, I believe, to play in all 5 divisions with the same team.
Yeah. Yeah, which is quite a record. I mean, I can remember a signing when he was just Ruddock. And it always amused me, the juxtaposition potentially of Pele and Ruddock. Not normally 2 words that you'd hear in the same sentence. But sorry, we're just getting away a free kick there. Nothing much. But yeah, it's a bit of a story, isn't it? I mean, I think he went straight to Luton from us, didn't he? Having sort of signed, and I think he sort of flitted around the League Cup side a bit without really making much of an impact. And then next thing you know, he's gone to Luton. You know, sort of here today, gone tomorrow almost. Luton have a free kick slightly right of centre, by the way, about halfway inside our half. So everyone's basically lining up penalty area. It's played high in and headed upwards rather than out. But Alvarez can try and clear it now, and he does. And Luton can regroup. So
okay, good stuff. Let's get back to the big news of the day. Which is that absolutely nothing's happened in terms of the transfer window deadline. We were all expecting we were all expecting a string of signings to happen, or at least 1 or 2 anyway, in for players like him from Paris Saint-Germain and 1 or 2 others. Yuri Alberto still floating around on the fringes, or at least we thought it was. Not made any signings at all, Rio. None at all, apart from perhaps a guy who plays in the Austrian 2nd division, which is a very, very strange one. What are your thoughts now? Do you think we're going to be left short for the season? Is this another example of West Ham failing to push on, as we famously did in 86, 87 and before? Or do you think we're reasonably stocked now? We've brought in 4, players that really should trouble the first team on any available weekend.
There is one glaring obvious gap in the squad. We do need another striker, if not 2. But obviously the right candidates ain't out there. Whoever is out there, you don't want to end up with another Danny. It's no disrespect to Danny, but he doesn't suit the way we play, doesn't suit the style that we need to bring other players into the team. Hence the reason he's first and foremost just something to come off the bench in the last 15, 20 minutes. We obviously need a big bulky striker to kind of take the donkey work off of Mikel Antonio, because we know when 2 games a week kick in next month, his form, which has been amazing, will drop off just because of the sheer workload. So, yes, we do need another striker. But apart from that, I think we're in a really good position. We've obviously sold a certain player to a certain team. What we brought in for barely what we just over what we recouped, 4 incredibly good players and with plenty of promise. So I think we're really well stocked. I mean, there was a lot of debate about we need to get a new left back and a new right back. But you want evolution, not revolution. We saw last year that a wealth of new faces was probably a little bit too much. We didn't have the right characters, and obviously Gianluca Scamacca was the one we really had high hopes for. Yeah. He didn't settle. So you don't want to bring in far too many players, far too many kind of pieces of the jigsaw when you don't necessarily know they're going to fit straight away. So we're okay at fullback. We've got Sufal, Kera can play right back, Cresswell, Emerson at left back. You've got Ben Johnson still on the books. Now he can cover both positions. So they might not be the greatest set of fullbacks in the world, but they're very adequate for what we've got, and we've got plenty of numbers. I think the biggest thing, we haven't lost anyone. Now, obviously, that person's gone. Lanzini's gone, but we really haven't lost anyone else of any note. And not losing, even Maxwell Cornet. I know he hasn't had a lot of appearances for us, but he's a vital squad player. There's rumours of Kehrer going. He's a vital squad player. He can cover a few positions, good around the change room. So I think overall, it's been a really good window. Let's say it's been a really good last 3 weeks because that's when the action's been happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm more than happy where we are. We just need that extra forward. Okay,
good stuff. Before I come to you now, I just want to check that everyone can hear us all right on the live stream. I've seen a couple of messages, John Harrington in particular, saying they can't hear us. But if there's any issues, let us know. Okay
don't complain, John. Don't complain.
yeah, it could be worse. Could be worse. No, is this the best West Ham squad we've ever had?
No, I think so. I go back a long way though. So, but it is the squad that we've got now. I agree with Rio that a striker was the sort of glaring error, but the signing of Kudus does give us options because I'm not that I've seen an awful lot of it, but from what I've read, so if there's any if this isn't accurate, then I apologise. But I understand he can play as a striker himself. And if not, there has been a lot of talk about sticking Bowen up front. And with that, obviously, Kudus could then slip into the right-hand side where Bowen's been playing. So, that signing does give us options. But, I agree with Rio. I'd have liked a striker. Antonio's been sort of good finishing form last couple of weeks. But, it's... and long may it continue, but I think we all know that the chance of him sort of going through a whole season in this sort of form is unlikely, shall we say. As is any player. That's not just a dig at Antonio, in case anyone reads it as such. But strikers in particular do go through spells. Okay, sorry, Jeff said he's going to sit over there now. But
boring
strikers in particular go through those runs, don't they?
They do. Listen, I just want to come back to something you said.
One sec.
Interesting.
Sorry, Ben Rama got the better of the fullback. Cross went a bit long. We're still keeping it live, and it's in the box. Ben Rama had a first-time shot, just basically screwed it wide, really. But a first bit of real pressure from West Ham there.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah,
I just wanted to come back to your comment that you made about when I asked you about the Beck squad. You said you go back a long way. Which squad are you thinking of that might be better than what we've currently got? Because as far as I'm concerned, the further back you go, naturally, the more limited you are in terms of the quality of the player you can attract. So who are you thinking of there?
Well, clearly, obviously, the 1986 squad were. It's so difficult, isn't it, comparing different eras? I guess that, but loath I am to quote him, the old Harry Redknapp quote about we had a squad that contained more Hurston Peters, which just goes to show how rubbish the rest of us were. But it's difficult to compare eras. I guess if you're going to be really sort of clinical about this, the squad we got. Sorry, Luton have just had a shot blocked on the edge of the box. The squad that I'm watching in front of us now are probably fitter than anything we've had in the past, purely because training methods evolve. So Luton just had a cross go across there, and Areola sort of managed to palm it away. It wasn't the most comfortable of saves there. I forgot what I was talking about now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just saying about the best squad. Let me ask Rio on that one. Let me come to Rio quickly now. Rio, where does this squad for you sit in terms of, the best squads that West Ham have ever had? I mean, of course, now, as Noam was just alluding to, we've got the entire world market open to us, which means, you look throughout the team and you've got internationals everywhere from France, Algeria, Brazil, and so on and so forth. Where does Yeah, where does it sit for you in the grand pantheon of West Ham squads of yesteryear?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think certainly, I don't think it is the best, purely because of the glaring error that we do need that extra striker and a striker of real quality.
Yeah.
But in terms of everywhere else on the pitch, you can name 2 people for every single position who you trust. And I don't think we've ever really had that kind of that strength in depth in every other position other than forward.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look back. We say this every year, don't we? Like, we look like we're the strongest we've ever been.
Yeah.
You'd actually say on paper last year's squad actually looked stronger as a whole because we did have Scamacca augmenting Antonio. But no, we're not far off the best ever. I'm trying to think. Maybe under the first year of Bilic when we had we had Obiang in the midfield at Bolton. We had Noble, Lanzini, Payet.
Yeah.
Everyone could play in certain positions. And Victor Moses on loan, who was a really good, wasn't the world beater, but he was a really good addition to the squad. So yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly up there, but we just need that one big bulky forward to kind of back cover everyone up. It would certainly be the best squad I think we've ever had.
Yeah, I think. I mean, for me, I think the thing is that obviously everybody's got the same access to the same markets now, and I think just it's the case that every that was close. That every club is to me looks stronger than they ever had before. I think the quality is that much better than it ever has been. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, as Noam rightly says, I don't think you can't really judge a player of today against the player of 50 years ago. Simply, I mean, as Noam mentioned, you've got complete dietary change, complete different training regime. Even in terms of the summer, it's not a question of the season's over, we're going to go and get on it for 6 weeks. It doesn't happen these days. Well, it does for some players, but that's another matter. But anyway, let's get back to the game quickly. We're just over 15 minutes in. Who's got the upper hand at the moment?
15:32 I've got, in case we're synchronising watches. Chance for Luton a couple of minutes ago. Barkley managed to work himself some space in the box and shot on the turn, but pulled it wide. We just saw Paquetá go down and win a free kick, which, to be honest, I don't think there was much in that at all. Now, West Ham on the attack. But it's a corner at West Ham. That's Bowen got himself some space, tried to work some space for the shot, got blocked out for a corner. So it's I wouldn't say it's end to end. It's fairly even, but I think both teams really sort of testing each other out. Do you want to stay with me for the corner?
Prowse is on it. Sit with that for now. Yeah, and see what happens.
Yeah,
if anything.
Yeah, Will Prowse corner into the edge of the penalty area, doesn't really get anywhere near Hammer. It's cleared. The header goes quite a way back, and it's now back in our half. In fact, it's now back with Areola. Not from the header, by the way. 2 passes there. That'd been a hell of a header, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, okay. Paquetá went down a little bit too easy. And we had that thing last week, which annoyed me as well. We started to play at, and don't want to see it.
Been creeping into the game, isn't it?
Promising
West Ham.
But I think that was offside there.
I'll tell you what's interesting. I don't know if you chaps saw it on Twitter just before the game, but someone put up a bunch of pictures of some tradesmen, shall we say, still painting the outside of the stadium. This was about 4:30 this afternoon. So I do hope if you are at Kenilworth Road that you're not touching any walls or anything like that, or leaning against them, because you might come to a sticky end. I'm just seeing Jared Bowen get into the box, which I'm assuming has come to nothing. Oh, it's a corner. We have a corner. No, have we taken that already?
That's the corner I mentioned a minute ago. Great.
Right. Okay. Okay.
It's been the only corner of the game so far. So, sorry, you talked about workmen sort of painting the signs at Luton. There's a story about Ron Greenwood, and when we went to Wembley for the cup final in '64, somebody on the board of directors sort of asked him if he'd been to Wembley before, and he pointed up to a sign, said, "See that sign there?" He said, "I painted that. because he'd been an apprentice signwriter back in the day. Some of his signs were still there.
Amazing. Wouldn't get it these days, would you? Wouldn't get it now for sure. I'm trying to keep one eye on the transfer window as we go along as well. So I'm going to leave probably the football stuff to Rio and Noam tonight. But Rio, just coming for.
Can you bear with me a second? I just got a bit of a domestic, technological thing to sort out. Back in 2 seconds.
All right. Noam's lost the remote again. Look, there he goes. Rio, what do you make of the start so far here for the Hammers? Obviously, a tough game. We had a very similar encounter last year, didn't we, against Forest?
You come to me. Luton have forced a corner, so just bear with me 1 second while this pans out.
Yep.
Ball comes in down to the far post. Luckily, we clear it and very well cleared and all. We've got Ben Rama on the attack now. Ben Rama's run forward, maybe a little bit of a foul, but he's carried on. He's staying. No, referee's given the foul. So we've gone from a corner deep into Luton territory now. Soufal plays out wide on the right hand side. Cross comes in from Antonio, but it's a poor one. Yeah, it's already kind of petered out to nothing. There was a very shocking stat flashed up on the screen about 5 minutes ago. It said possession. West Ham 72%. Now, that's one for the record books this season. So, and it probably reiterates we've had a bit of an iffy start. We haven't been great. We've obviously utilised the ball a lot better than Luton now, but Luton are going a little bit direct at times to the front two, and it's causing a few problems. I mean, you've got to look at as we go back to the squad depth and the player quality on the pitch. We should win this hands down, but is it going to be that the sum of the parts kind of outweighs the talent? Because we've often seen that, and particularly when West Ham were involved.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, we certainly have. No, everything okay? Hope you've managed to sort everything out.
I should explain that I'm down at my mum's. We're off on holiday for a week tomorrow. So, I've commandeered the telly in the lounge to watch the game on Sky. And of course, Mum wants to watch the soaps, as is her want. And I've had to make sure that it's all working on the other telly in the other room. So apologies for that.
Well, there you go. Glad to hear we've got Coronation Street. Is it tonight?
Probably. I
probably
don't watch
for that, innit? I don't
those sorts of things. Yeah.
Anyway, we should say that
Sky Sports, where Gary Neville sends Roy Keane out the room to put Ollie Oates on.
I was being moaned at a minute ago by Mum, who said, couldn't I talk to them in sign language? And I said, they don't understand me when I'm speaking out loud. So
we're 22 minutes gone.
We're making too much.
Sorry, no, go on.
My mum's just getting herself a drink, and
yes, you help yourself.
Yeah, okay.
On the hard stuff again, Mrs. T. I don't know.
Hear that?
No.
He said, "Are you on the hard stuff again, Mrs. T?"
Yeah, of course. Coloured water at the end of the day.
There you go.
I've got
to the game.
A week. I've got to survive a week in Mallorca with her, so
I'll watch it.
Oh, chance for Luton there.
I've got the Euro to pick it up on.
Sorry, I'm trying to commentate a football match, Mum. Corner came across and it wasn't a free header, but it was planted wide. I'm not sure who that header was. Sorry. So anyway, nothing came of it, and we can build up again from the back.
There we go. 23 minutes gone. Luton Town 0, West Ham United 0. No goals so far. The Hammers doing okay, but not a great deal of clear-cut chances so far. 1 or 2 for each team, but nothing really obvious. I'm just watching that corner come in from Luton, being as I am about 30 seconds behind the live chaps. But let us know what you think of the game so far. I should say some hellos, really, shouldn't I? Gentlemen, we haven't said hello to the crew, so I'm going to say hellos to Tony Mitchell, to Dan B, to Craven Moorhead, to John Harrington, APD in the house, Alan Pardew's dad, David O'Rourke, Jim Sawyer, Stevie Palmer, Andy Welsh, Hobo, John Harrington, I think that's most of you that have posted so far. Of course, welcome to everybody else on the streaming hasn't posted and got involved so far. Please do let us know what you think of the game. Give us your comments. We love to hear from you, hear what you got to say. But 0-0 at the moment. Rio, what do you make of this West Ham team tonight that Moyes has put out? Any surprises for you? Any shocks? Or are you quite happy with the team we've got out there?
No, to be honest, it's probably the strongest lineup we can actually muster. Obviously, Souček's out, which a lot of people have been clamouring for. But I actually think when he's played the game so far this season, he's been one of our best players, particularly in the second half against Chelsea. When we went down to 10 men, he was like an absolute warrior. I know there's a lot of accusations that he kind of disrupts our play. He's not sharp enough. He's not technical enough in the way that we build up. But again, the sum of the parts, and he does a vital job for us. And I think he's done really well so far this season, Thomas Souček. Oh, throwing a chance from outside the box, brought the ball down nicely, swiveled, just put it wide. But that's probably our best effort today. Yeah, but apart from that, Knife a Gerd back, he's got to be, barring the way that we know we've envisaged Kudos line into this lineup, he's probably our strongest lineup there.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, they're doing okay at the moment, and let's hope we can grab a couple of goals between now and half time. Just a bit of news for you. Ex-Hammer Jack Collison has been named as Coach of the Month. Now currently working at Huntsville City FC in the United States, not MLS level. But yeah, he's doing very well over there. So good to see Jack getting that recognition for his hard work since obviously retiring at the age of just 27 due to a succession of injuries. Decent effort that from Bowen, just coming back to the one Rio mentioned. Rio, I saw a little ooh there. Is that another chance?
Well, we kind of worked the ball in. It was nothing of major intent, but we worked the ball around, put a cross in, kind of petered out again. But the last couple of minutes, we looked showing a bit more attack in the tent and a bit more active goal threat, which we've been sadly lacking so far in this game.
Yeah, certainly has been a bit, but still plenty of time to go. No, I mean, it'd be typical West Ham, wouldn't it, to beat Chelsea, beat Brighton, and then come up short against Luton.
Yeah, as said earlier on, that would be so West Ham, wouldn't it? So just some tidy work there from Zuma when put under pressure, one-on-one there. Throw into Luton. That's right. Well, throw at the edge of the box, and there's a header there, but it's like a header from outside the box is never going to give. I think it was Morrison, wasn't it? Never going to give Areola too much trouble there. So like a headed back pass, really. Yeah. Over the years, how many times have we seen that? FA Cup runs where you beat Man United and get a really good result away at Sunderland, and then you get knocked out by. I can't remember who got knocked out by that year, but it was, I was convinced that the FA Cup was ours that year.
Spurs, wasn't it? Just whisper it. I think it was Tottenham, wasn't it?
Yeah, so somebody, I was right, it was somebody rubbish. Do all the hard work.
Yeah. Yes, that was a great run, wasn't it, that year? We thought we were on our way, Man U, Sunderland, and then it all went south.
When the club paid for all the coaches to get up there. Now, hang on. Ooh. Some good work there from Antonio. Played in Benrahma. Defender came across to put it out for a corner, but nice little interplay. That's a lovely bit of play, especially from Antonio there to pull the ball back into Benrahma's path. So corner number 2, I think this is for West Ham. And Ward-Prowse is on the ball. So let's have a look. In it goes. Keeper punches away under pressure. And yes, I think that's kind of optimistic. Benrahma about 35 yards out, tries a first-time shot, which he just pulls wide, much to there's howls of derisive cheering from the home support.
Can I just mention a little bit of an idea? Is it just me? I'm finding this, where Luton have built the new stand on what was formerly the shadow side, for the first time in living memory, the TV view is from the opposite end of the opposite side of the pitch. And I'm finding it a little bit disconcerting, a little bit disorientating. I'm so used to like the away support being in the ramshackle Oak Road stand, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just finding it a little bit disorientated here. Maybe I'm losing my marbles.
Join the club.
Happened at our place, didn't it? When they built the new stand, because
I'm still not used.
ever since I can remember, until they built the West Stand, it was always odd that the main camera was always on the other side, and then they built the new stand, changed over, and that took me by surprise. Sorry, and another bit of domestic thrower life. You just missed my mum coming around telling me what a nice sunset it is out there. But a bit busy.
In other news, I've got some possibly West Ham related transfer news coming from the final hours. I mean, we're now into the last 2.5 hours of the transfer window. PSG have completed the signing of Kolo Muani from Eintracht Frankfurt for 90 million euros. Why has that got anything to do with West Ham? I can hear you ask. Well, it's simply because PSG were unwilling to allow Hugo Tiki TikTok to leave until they had sourced a replacement, and that replacement they always wanted was Kolo Muani. It looked like the deal had failed to go through, and that meant that Hugo, as we're going to call him, wasn't allowed to leave the French club. But with that deal being done, there is a possibility that he could be on the move in the last 2 hours. Now, of course, West Ham and Crystal Palace are the two clubs that have been most closely linked. We know the Hammers have been looking at it all week, and it's kind of one of those that's sort of, I think, has been put aside as a last-minute deal if we couldn't get any of our preferred targets over the line, as it were. But here we are. Palace are the favourites. It's got to be said. Palace have made a concrete offer of about £26 million, I think, today, if I'm right. West Ham not having done so at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on that one, because it looks like Etiquette is keen to leave Paris, not getting any game time. He's about fifth in the pecking order of strikers, and desperate to come to the Premier League, possibly more concerned with getting to England than playing for any specific team. But he's very, very keen. We know he's looked at West Ham and was very keen at the proposition of playing at the London Olympic Stadium. So we will keep an eye on that one over the next hour and a half, anyway, just to see what happens. Anyway, back to the game. We're 32 minutes in. Is it still? There's a lovely shot. Is that Barry Fry in the stand we've just seen there? I think it is.
David,
anyway,
please.
how are we doing?
Yeah, you're not missing much at the moment. Zuma was landed awkwardly after a challenge, and play was stopped for a minute or so just to make sure he's all right, and ended up with Luton throwing the ball back to Areola rather sportingly. So you haven't missed much at all. Interesting development on there on the PSG front. Hang on, we could be in here. Bowen played the ball across the box, but nobody made the run in, and now there's a flag up for offside. So nothing, all that came to naught. No, the interesting thing there is I'm not quite sure what the numbers are in our squad or not. Would we have to shift someone? I think Cornet was favourite to be moved on if that's the case. I'm not quite sure where we are with numbers. I've been a bit tied up today. I did work from home today, so
we're allowed one more non-domestic player in the squad.
Okay. As ever, Rio, you keep us all up to date. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, still a possibility.
What I've been reading
that could be done.
One more non-domestic.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we've still got the space, so we'll keep an eye on that one anyway, just to see what happens. Interestingly, just seen a post from Roshane Thomas on Twitter. Roshane's at the game covering it for the Athletic. Roshane writes, Luton Town fans are singing, Jared Bowen, your girlfriend's a whore. Not much. And asking what kind of chant is that? I mean, that's championship quality chants as well as a championship quality team. Really. Not much humour in that one, Rio. It would seem pretty offensive as far as things go these days.
Look, we're most of us into Luton, and there's a reason most of us have never been back other than for football, and that's the kind of the town its population, and its appearance on numerous police crime programs on Channel 5.
It's sort of well, especially since they lost the airport. It's Croydon with the airport back, isn't it?
I've got to say, the only time I've seen Luton on telly in recent years is when I've happened to come across a Tommy Robinson documentary.
He's from there, is he?
Well, I don't know if he's from there, but
mean,
he seems to write a lot about it. I think they've got quite a heavy Muslim population, haven't they? Yeah. So he seems to be attracted.
Surely you mean Mr. Yaxley Lennon, or what?
That's the one. That's the one. I was trying to think of his real double barrel name, but it wouldn't come to me. It's one of them days. A bit more transfer news for Davy Klaassen has left Inter. He's left Ajax to join Inter. Contract until 2025. 1 year with an additional year to follow if required. I mean, Ajax have shifted some players, haven't they? This transfer window, of course, we've bought two of them in Kudus and Alvarez.
Yeah, they always do, don't they? They always go through a massive transition, losing 3 or 4 quality players, and yet they always still bounce back. We know that the Dutch league is.
There we go. Oh, it's a great block.
Alvarez shot on target, brilliant block. Yeah, they're probably our best chance of the game now. Ball kind of pinged around the outside of the area. Felt to Edison Alvarez, who rifled one really, really solidly. But yeah, it's a fantastic block by not Paddy Ruddock, let's put it that way.
Let's have a look at this closely. No, it was there were all sorts of hands and arms out there, but it didn't hit any of them. So it's a good block, yeah. Worth another look just in case, but nothing to see here. Move on.
Yeah, it's a good build-up, actually. I think if the ball had fallen a bit more kindly for Bowen or Paquetá, we might have been in regardless. But better from West Ham anyway. And I can tell you, chaps, that after 35 minutes, we've made more successful passes in this game so far than we have in either of the 3 previous Premier League games in their entirety. So that's a good start, I suppose. We're just over a third. I think against Brighton, the stats were ridiculous, weren't they? I think it was Brighton had something like 600 passes. West Ham was about 120. Rio.
1-0. Yay. It's been coming last 5 minutes or so, hasn't it? We've had a lot of sustained pressure. Luton weren't clearing it out, and Bowen coming in at the back post. And possibly with reference to his the chance, he's just gone to the supporters there. So ball's been played across the thing, and Paquetá looks to play it out wide, but it's a lovely cross.
Oh yeah.
It really is. I mean, Bowen's got between 2 defenders there.
Yes,
and
he wants to have a word with himself, though.
The bit about that cross is that Paquetá looks left and feigns to sort of play it out wide, but spots. I mean, that's a great cross. That is just head me in. Keeper hasn't exactly covered himself in glory looking at it, but I don't care about that.
Do you know what? For me, that goal, that's all about Edson Alvarez. I mean, he's played 2 really lovely little 1-2s with Bowen. And not sure who else it was, but some great build-up play. Something that we never saw Declan Rice really do. Interestingly.
Can I just say at this point, be the first to mention the fact that we are currently top of the league?
Hey, it's getting boring, this, Rio. We were there last week, weren't we?
Who's it came on and said, do you think Man City will be able to mount a challenge against us this year?
It is West Ham United 1-0. Luton 0, West Ham United 1. Jarrod Bowen. It looks like he actually knocked the goalkeeper over with a header, but it wasn't a particularly good header. It was straight at the goalie who kind of just fell over. Not sure it was expected. But anyway, 38 minutes gone. Luton 0, West Ham United 1. As Noam rightly says, Hammers back on top of the Premier League.
Or if you want to look at it slightly more realistically, if things stay the same, we're only 30 points from safety.
Yes. Yeah, that's much more of a West Ham way to look at things, I think. But we are ahead.
Times a European trophy. Forget the safety thing.
Them's brave words there, Rio. Them's brave words right there.
It wasn't a bad draw, was it? as well. I thought, having looked at it.
We haven't even touched on that, have we? We'll come to that in a minute. Right, let's cover that in a minute. Thank you, Noam.
Probably a half-time chat, that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Good shout. Yeah, it's just been one of those days. It's crazy to make a team play on transfer deadline day, don't you think, fellas? It's not sure if that's happened before.
I was saying
it's happened elsewhere, hasn't it? I can't remember who did it last season, but somebody was moaning about it last season. But I guess really you've got all the backroom staff are doing all the necessary work. Leaving Mr. Moyes to concentrate on getting the team out, I suppose. But it does seem a bit daft, though. I mean, what if you've got? I mean, you mentioned Cornet earlier on, just picking at him on random. What if that lad that we're talking about that wants out of PSG?
Yeah.
What if he suddenly becomes available and we had to shift Cornet or something like that to make it happen? I mean, not just the rules and all that, but maybe financially.
Well, that's a very good point, Noam, because that's exactly the situation I think we were faced with. I mean, we were told earlier in the day, around about lunchtime, that Cornet wasn't in the squad because obviously there was a possibility that we know Everton were looking at him, Forest were looking at him as well. But of course, Forest signed Callum, what's his face, Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who Everton picked up, but they picked up someone else. But by that time, he's back and got the squad. So I think, from that, as you say, from that perspective, it can be an issue. But it just seems a bit of a strange one to let the two things pan out at the same time. And of course, with the Europa League draw as well, as I say, it's been a mental day for West Ham news. It's been incredibly busy. We're in the final 5 minutes of the first half, Rio. Luton, going close. They just had a sort of shot that dropped onto the bar. Happy with the first half so far?
Yeah, it's not been it's not been an outstanding performance for West Ham. It's been functional.
What's the thought?
We have shown a bit of quality. We have
Keep
slowly gone on, had the better chances, and we scored a really good goal. But Luton certainly aren't out of this. Right? They don't have a lot of genuine quality on the pitch, but they're working like dogs for each other. The crowd's up for it. This is going to be an easy end to the game, right? And a couple of little sloppier things have crept in with us at the back. So we've got to be on our mettle here. We've got to kind of really watch what we're doing. But we're good value for the lead, but it's not the most comfortable lead, let's put it that way.
Thank you, Rio. A little bit more transfer news for you. Nothing to do with West Ham, this one, but Kasper Schmeichel, who, what was it, 7 years ago, he was picking up a Premier League winners' medal as part of that Leicester team, has been given a free transfer by Nice. Mutual agreement, contract terminated. Not wearing the hunt for a keeper, just thought it was interesting. Anyway, last couple of minutes of the half. Noam, pick us up if you will. Still Luton 0, West Ham United 1.
Yeah, Luton have obviously tried to push forward a little bit more. I said the goal was coming. We had them under a fair bit of constant pressure, and I've got the feeling it's only a matter of time. Obviously, they've got the ball back from the kick-off, and they're on the attack now, and that's a dangerous-looking crossing. But I think Zaguer managed to clear that out for a corner. So they've reacted well to the goal, Luton. But see what I can do from this corner anyway. Just waiting for it at the moment. Say, are they going to take it today? Yeah, here it comes now. Oh, it's bobbling around the box there, but it's been smuggled out. I think it's gone out for a goal kick. Not the most comfortable of clearances. See a bit more of it from this angle. In swinging corner. It came to Chong, who's in the 6-yard box, wide of the goal, but it was one of those ones that comes at you at an awkward height. So it's too high to kick, and he basically just fired it away for a goal kick. So you mentioned that header that looped up the top of the net there, and that was from Giles. And I was looking, I had a sort of throwback to the 70s there, because they've got both Giles and Bell in their side. So thinking the late 60s, early 70s. I'm just looking to see if there are any more that let depth out, but those are the only two really.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're talking of old players. You know, there's a couple of ex-Hammers we've not really spoken. We spoke about Paddy Ruddock, but also good to see Reece Burke out there.
Yeah,
Of course, was part of the. If I remember rightly, was he not played at centre half? Didn't he in the alongside Anton against Preston? Was it 2005 Millennium Stadium? Was it not Burke and Ferdinand?
Oh no, that was Elliot Ward.
Elliot Ward.
Anton and Elliot, wasn't it? Yeah.
What happened to Burke?
Who basically village era, end of the Allardyce, beginning the village, and he made about 7 or 8 appearances, maybe a little bit fewer. But I always thought he was a very solid player, very good prospect. But we very rarely get it wrong when we get rid of our youngsters, do we? And it's great to see him work his way back up to the top flight. But he obviously wasn't the calibre we needed, despite the fact we always get the emotional attachments of players who come through our youth system. And as much as we wanted him to succeed and be the one, I just don't think it was ever going to happen with us.
That's a very good point, actually. No, we don't.
Free kick to Luton as we go into what appears to be, I think is that 2 minutes? So I'm quite awake to the screen in my old eyes. Free kicks played into the box. First, West Ham win the first header and the second one. And Bowen makes a complete hash of an air shot from the edge of the box, and Luton can bring it in again. Drilled in again, but West Ham defence remains resolute. We're just come out of 1 minute of the 2 that's been added on. So a minute or so left. Ball played long, but it's cleared. Now West Ham can break here if they can break quickly. Ball played out left to Ben Rama, who's got to the edge of the box. He's dumming one way, goes outside, and but it's held up, and we get a corner out of it. So, but I think Luton being 1-0 down, obviously they're going to have to push more and more forward. And I think we can break like that quickly and with intent, much as we did against Brighton. I think that's. There's profit to be had from there. Anyway, corner again to West Ham, again on our left-hand side. Ward-Prowse signals, in goes the corner. Again, right into the middle of the 6-yard box, but it's cleared. But we got Ward-Prowse then at the edge of the box. Benrahma plays it wide out to Bowen, who heads back into the box, and there's an offside there. I thought it might be and I think that'll be a lot. Indeed, that is half time. So Luton Town 0, West Ham United 1.
There you go. Thank you, gentlemen, for the first half. West Ham going into the break with that 1 goal advantage, coming courtesy of the head of Jared Bowen, who's been mercilessly abused, or at least his partner, Danny, was by the Luton fans, and scored a goal and told them to be quiet with a finger to the mouth, which was nice to see. But that is the only goal of the first half so far. Decent finish, not been an awful lot in it really, but West Ham, as Noam pointed out earlier in the stream, currently top of the Premier League in the live league table, which is nice because I don't think there's many Hammers fans who thought we'd be in this position 6 or 7 weeks ago. But there we are. That's half time now. It is, of course, the summer transfer window deadline day. So we are keeping an eye on all the usual sources just to see if anything is happening. Doesn't look like it as far as West Ham is concerned. Looks like our business is done for the day. If you were expecting any last minute moves by the Hammers, doesn't look like it's going to be happening. There was a possibility earlier in the day that something might be done. There was a flurry of activity at Rush Green, we can tell you. And there was a lot of positivity around the place, but that soon changed, and it doesn't look like anything's happening right now. But we shall see. We shall see what happens and let you know if anything changes. Quick stat update for you before we carry on. Jared Bowen is the first player to score in West Ham's first 3 away games in a top flight campaign since who, gentlemen?
Is that the sound of a barrel being scraped for a stat?
You are never going to get this one. You're never going to get this. I'm not even going to
First three
ask
away
if you
games.
Yeah. I'll give you. I will give you a clue, and to be fair, if I give you this clue, you might just get it.
Before you do it, can I just have a rough
go
guess?
on.
Hey,
Of
Mike.
course. Sorry, Rio, you cut out there. I missed you.
It's not Mike Small, is it?
No. You're about 50 years out. The last time that's what I thought. The last time this was achieved was in what do we say? 93 years ago. So that might give you an idea of
years ago.
who was prolific in the early 1930s.
Early 1930s. Oh, who used to score goals for us back then?
It's not Vic Watson, surely.
No.
Point to Rio.
Oh,
yeah,
well
Vic
done,
Watson.
mate. Yeah.
He was the last West Ham player to score in each of West Ham's 3 opening away games in the 1930-31 season. So that's a pretty elite group.
I remember it well.
Jared has just joined there. There you go.
And no one can take that away from him.
Yes. And I can tell, and we've also found a player there that Noam hasn't seen playing. I think just about. I'm fairly certain you weren't around in Vic's days.
I just look like it.
I also think you'll find that we never used to sing a song about Deflower and his girlfriend either.
What opposition supporters saying, Victor Watson, your paramour, your paramour is a lady of the night or something like that, and you're fitting it into some operatic aria of the day. Yeah.
I'm going to bore you even more because I can tell you exactly who those 3 games
Is
were
that
against
possible?
in 1930-31. No, I know it's incredible. We opened our campaign with home wins against Huddersfield and Liverpool that season, beating Huddersfield 2-1, Liverpool 7-0, which actually put us top of Division 1, ironically, for a bit. And then we lost the next game. We went to Aston Villa, top of the table, and were beaten 6-1. Vic Watson scoring the only goal there. Couple of home games, defeat against Middlesbrough 3-0 at home before our fortunes turned against Chelsea, winning 4-1. And then the next 2 away games, Middlesbrough 2-2, Newcastle 4-2 defeat. Didn't win any of them, but Vic Watson scored in all 3. So there you go. That's the last time it was achieved. Let's talk about the Europa League. There was a draw today. We didn't do a live stream because we were involved in other things, busy elsewhere today. But Rio, not the worst draw you could possibly imagine for West Ham. Once again, actually, in Europe, we've not really had a bad draw in all 3 years, have we?
No, I mean, I think out of our 3 campaigns, it is probably the toughest group that we've encountered so far. Not in terms of like the genuine quality on offer that we've got, but it's just very tricky places to go. Freiburg have done what we've done over the last couple of years. They've finished, I think, 6th and 7th for the last 2 years in the German league. And they've always been a very, very tidy outfit. So it's going to be a very tough encounter. German opposition is always going to be a bit of a tricky one. Olympiacos, I think the most dominant club in Greek football. Their fans are incredibly, shall we say, passionate. So I think it's going to be a bit of a cauldron going out there, but it should be entertaining to say the least. And as for the Serbian side, who no one really knows anything about them, but
I've never heard of them before. Have you? Have you ever heard of them?
No, very, very little knowledge about them. I know they're on the Hungarian edge of Serbia, so it's one Hungarian border. They've got a very small ground, which looks a little bit like Leighton Orient's, because it looks like it's got flats in each corner. It's a very weird setup. I'm just hoping that because our away fans are banned from the first away trip, I'm hoping it's the Serbian ones for our fans, because it's not going to be a nice place to go to, I don't think. But we could have had a lot worse. We could have had better. Liverpool's dodgy hot ball system was obviously in full effect today, because Brighton get Marseille, Ajax, and I can't remember the last one they got. And Liverpool get the probably easiest draw in the whole tournament. But it could have been a lot worse. It's going to be very challenging. but not for footballing reasons. I think it's going to be more challenging off the pitch than on it.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that the game that we're going to be banned for is that one, the trip to Serbia. But we'll see. We're waiting for confirmation from UEFA as to was it one game or two? No, it might be two. I can't remember specifically, but we'll check that and confirm. Gentlemen, big news on the transfer front, or potentially big news. According to Santi Auna, who is a journalist who has a sizable following on Twitter of around 230,000 subscribers, so generally knows what he's talking about. West Ham have made a bid for the Paris player Hugo, as we're going to call him. According to this particular journalist, the deal, as we understand it, is a £5 million loan fee for the season, with a £30 million fee at the end of the year. However, again, this is coming from the same source. Paris Saint-Germain have refused West Ham's offer, but that is a situation we shall keep an eye on, because West Ham, assuming this is correct, and I have no reason to believe it otherwise, because the journalist has a good track record, is not one to invent stories, as far as we're aware. That's one to watch, because you get the feeling that if West Ham do increase their offer, that the player will come. But time is rapidly running out. Without wishing to turn it to Sky Sports, we've got just 2 hours to go until the window slams shut. And so we'll find out very soon. But big news. West Ham in for Ekitike on the transfer deadline day. Noam, back to the Europa League briefly. How confident are you that we're going to have a good run in that this year?
I am quite confident that we'll get into the knockout stages from that group, which worries me, because then when I'm confident, it always goes pear-shaped. So perhaps I shouldn't be, and see what happens. But you mentioned, yes, Olympiacos in terms of sort of size and fan base are big, but I don't think they're the force in Greece that they once were. They're in the Europa League rather than the Champions League for a kickoff. So
I think they finished third in their league last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
I saw someone on the KUMB forum equate to kind of Celtic not finishing in the top two of the Scottish Premier League, which would be unthinkable.
Yeah. So we got them. Obviously, I think the team from Serbia, I don't think even they know they're in it yet. I don't think anyone's told them that you're away at West Ham next week. What, are we in that? I better go and round up the players then. They obviously there's them, and Freiburg again. It's they're kind of getting that sort of mid-table market cornered, as Rio said, and it's they're in a stronger league anyway. Won the league with the more coefficient points. So I guess that the like the Premier League, the European positions go down quite low. I think, I know it's always German teams are always difficult, but I think that it really is between us and Olympiacos for the top slot in that group. I'd wager.
Okay, good stuff. Well, we shall find out very soon.
So
details.
That's us third back in the conference. Then.
Yes. I think Rio, would you go along with Noam's thoughts there? Freiburg, West Ham, possibly favourites to qualify from that group.
I would have thought we would be the favourites from the group. Freiburg won't be far behind. Olympiacos, I think their record in the tournament last year was pretty appalling. And I haven't done a lot of research on them, to be honest, but I don't think they've strengthened much this summer, from what I can gather. So, us and Freiburg should be the teams who qualify from the group. But it's how we adapt to. It's going to be a bit more of an intimidating atmosphere than a lot of our other trips, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult one for our fans and the players to adjust to. But Now we've got the experience now. We should be able to ride it out, and we should get through the group quite comfortably.
Good stuff. Well, keep an eye on KUMB tomorrow. We shall be bringing you details of the times and dates of West Ham's 6 group games. I think there. And of course, as we said, West Ham, of course, do have that impending ban coming in for as a consequence of the behaviour of a handful of fans at the final in Prague a couple of months ago. So we're just waiting to have that confirmed. Hopefully that will be for the longer trips rather than maybe Germany.
Help an old man out here.
Yes.
Last season,
Yes,
I know
sir.
some games kicked off at 5:45, but they were mostly the ones when we played them. They were sitting for the ones away.
Yeah.
I'm given to believe that this season we might be playing kickoffs at 5:45 at home.
There is let's see, yeah.
Yeah, and now that didn't happen last season. We didn't get any at home last season, did we? Or am I just, is my memory?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely right. No, there wasn't a single. They were all 8 o'clock kickoffs, the home games. Well, we'll see. Well, as I say, we'll bring you full details of the times and dates of each particular game on KUMB tomorrow. Just keep an eye out for that. We are at Kenilworth. We're not at Kenilworth Road. The team are at Kenilworth Road tonight. I'm fairly sure this isn't Kenilworth Road. But it's been a good showing by the Hammers so far. We lead by 1-0 at the interval. The goal coming from Jared Bowen, who's the recipient of some rather unsavoury chanting from the home fans in the first half. Wouldn't hear West Ham ever do anything like that, would you? Mrs. Beckham, should I say? Anyway, times change. Of course, it's that was a long time ago. So we're also bringing you all the latest transfer news. West Ham in for Hugo Ekitike of PSG. We understand a bid of season-long loan bid offered by the Hammers. £5 million fee with a purchase option. Looks like it's an option, not an obligation, of £30 million at the end of the season. But it has been rejected by PSG. PSG say no to West Ham's offer, looking for a little bit more. Seems a bit cheeky to me, that, Rio, actually, for a player. They've got absolutely no intention of using this season. What do you reckon they'll, the idea is there?
Are we the victims of our own reputation, where we spend an extortionate amount of money on a striker who doesn't fit the system? And our PSG looks at the fact that we spent so much money on Haller, so much money on Skamaka, who obviously didn't fit the way we play, didn't fit into the country, and they just want their money up front. And maybe it's that. I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a little bit of a bidding war they're trying to instigate as well, because they also know that Palace want him. So maybe they're trying to, increase their potential amount of money that they recoup what they spent on him. Bit of a double-edged sword, that one.
We'll keep an eye on that. Anything that happens, we will, of course, bring you the latest news. There is some more news known coming in terms of the Premier League. Nottingham Forest have made a signing. It's about the 800th time we've said that in the last few months.
We said some news.
They have signed Divock Origi, another player, of course, who was strongly linked with West Ham. Former Liverpool striker who's been in Italy with AC Milan of late. He's going to the Midlands, the East Midlands, on loan. For a season with an option to buy. £5 million fee. Forest paying his salary of £4.5 million a year. So there you go. Striker Divock Origi joins Nottingham Forest. They're making some signings again, Noam, and quality looks a little bit better this year.
Well, it was a scattergun approach last season for him, wasn't it? It was like, if it moves, sign it, wasn't it? It was 30 players or something ridiculous, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yes. Yeah,
before we go on, and with the game, the players are out on the pitch again. I've got a young lad here who wants to say good night to everyone because he's got an early night because he's going on holiday with his big brother tomorrow. So say good night to.
Good night.
Night, Jeff. Have a lovely holiday, mate. Look after your brother. Make sure he doesn't get into any trouble, please. Bring him back safely for our next stream.
Okay.
Have a lovely time, mate. Be good.
Good.
So Divock Origi, a player you might perhaps have liked to see at West Ham.
Not especially. It's just he's one of those players. I don't know. It's one of those players. I don't think it had progressed at West Ham. He wouldn't have done much. We're underway, by the way.
Yes,
in
we are.
half,
Second half has started.
Yeah.
I've got
no changes anyway.
Sorry, no, thank you. No changes. One more bit of transfer news to bring in. Guess who it involves? It's Nottingham Forest. They've signed somebody else. Nottingham Forest have agreed to sign Norwich's Andrew. I've got to be careful how I say this. Omo Bamidele, I think that's pronounced. Player undergoing a medical with Nottingham Forest. So that's they've practically signed another team today. 2 hours left of the transfer window. West Ham still with a finger in the pie, the transfer pie, as it were, in the shape of Hugo Ekitike of PSG. West Ham having made that offer, £5 million season-long loan fee with a £30 million purchase option. 30 million euros. 30 million euros, which does make a bit of a difference. Rejected by PSG. Back to the game. Rio, no changes. How are we looking so far? Any evident changes for the way Luton might be playing in the first couple of minutes of the half? They push him forward a little bit more?
No, it just looks exactly it was in the first half at the moment. We've had kind of the better of the possession so far, a minute and a bit. But yeah, no real changes of note.
Okay, good stuff. Well, I'm sure that will itself change if there are no further goals. But let's see what happens. No, I don't think we've asked you this one before. Rio and I often wax lyrical about the kits and stuff like that. Well, are you a fan of this away kit? This all white look, which
it's
West Ham. I mean, it always reminds me of Highbury quarterfinals of the FA Cup, 1975.
Yes, but without quite so much mud on it. You don't get the mud these days. But no, it's tasteful. It's fairly plain. It's nothing too. Just looking there, and Paquetá got caught there. Free kick. It's one of those ones where the player kicks the ball and the opponent is trying to block and there's a coming together more than anything else. So Paquetá, as this is want, does milk it a little bit, and we're just waiting for the game to restart. So yeah, it's tasteful enough. No complaints about it. The badge with that sort of, I don't know what you call it, that sort of iridescent look about it, maybe a bit gimmicky, but seems to be this year's thing. I think Chelsea had a similar one, didn't they, at our place? But yeah, can't really complain.
Lucas Paquetá has just gone down under a fairly heavy challenge, but hopefully Rio is on your stream, which is ahead of mine. He's back up and okay.
That's what I was just referring to.
Yeah, we've just seen Mikel Antonio get penalised for being pushed in the back. So it's good to see the Referees Association has really got a grip on the abuse of Mikel Antonio.
Yeah, he was pushed in the back, went down. Of course, as he went down, he had his hands out, and the ref gave handball, which is like, yeah, ref, okay.
A bit more transfer news for you, chaps, coming from Fabrizio Romano, who I'm sure plenty of you follow. Ajax signed another player. Borna Sosa has just signed a transfer fee of €8 million. So Ajax managing finally to restock their talent cabinet, having sold the best of it to West Ham and one or two other clubs. Newcastle win for Tottenham, former goalkeeper Hugo Lloris. I think he's gone now. I think they let him go, didn't they? Oh, maybe he's not, because they're trying to get him on loan, apparently, according to the Times, which would suggest that he's still at Tottenham. But I thought they'd let him go. But anyway, Newcastle looking to sign him.
Border to West Ham.
There we go.
Work there by Antonio to not let defenders settle on the ball, and it's ended up with a corner to West Ham, which both Bowen and Ward-Prowse have gone over. And Ward-Prowse has set the ball down, looking favourite to take it. And indeed he does. So whipped in, and good defensive header. Plays the ball out to the other side, but West Ham get the ball back and continue to probe, as they say. Just wonder what the point of Bowen going out there was for that corner, but crossing Benrahma. Antonio holds the ball out. It's 2-0.
Come on.
Oh, I think it's Emerson. Yeah, Emerson. Oh no, the flag's up.
Oh.
Ah.
Oh.
Boo. Well, let's have another look at this.
VAR.
James Ward-Prowse with the corner. Headed out to the far left of the penalty box. Ball found its way back. Hang on. How far behind
I
am I?
don't think anybody's offsides interfering with play there.
I think Mikel Antonio is slightly offside. He knocks the ball back for Emerson, who is a great finish. Fantastic.
Yeah. Let's have a look. It's
a strange one.
Because it's all. It's giving it anyway. Hands up. It's a shame that it was a good little build up. So hopefully a portent of things to come. But our referee gets in the way, but he's allowing play to go on because we come away nicely. He's got a habit of that, Tierney.
Oh, that's close. That's close.
Yeah.
Just looking at the line, I mean, we're talking inches, if not centimetres, Mickey Antonio off. But, rules are rules. That's the law. Unfortunate, but you'd be a bit disappointed, Rio, wouldn't you, if you were Emerson? And, that's your one goal a season. And it's called off because Mickey Antonio's not looking along the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And particularly, like I say, it was such a good finish as well.
Yeah.
I do like the way that Emerson, when he gets forward and gets into the box, he always looks composed. He looks like I know what he's doing. Even that one was a little bit more instinctive, but he knows what he's doing in front of the goal. So, I think all this talk about we need a massive upgrade at left back, I don't think we do. I think Emerson is a very good player. I think we're actually quite lucky to have him.
Good stuff. Well, it remains 52 minutes gone. It remains Luton Town 0, West Ham United 1. Jarrod Bowen, the only legal goal so far, coming in the 37th minute. Emerson scoring a second, or look, what we thought was a second for West Ham, but ruled out for offside. Mickey Antonio inches offside. But actually, to be fair, that was a pretty good shout by the linesman, wasn't it? Because that was tight. I'm not sure. What do you think about this now? I mean, is there as much pressure on the officials these days to get those calls right because they know it's going to be referred to VAR in that sort of event?
Sadly, I don't think they give a monkeys.
Right.
You know my opinion on them. It's sorry, it's a corner to Luton, but headed clear by Zuma there. No, I think. Well, I don't know about the pressure to get it right because, as we've seen in other cases. And Mike Dean is not an isolated example of this. If they get it wrong, they know that often their mates will cover up for them. How many times have we seen VAR look at something, you can see it's definitely offside or there's definitely a handball and it's not been given. And you think, well, you've had 3 looks at that and it's really obvious now. So, no, there's got to be a change of culture here. And,
I think the other room, I thought you'd had about just a dose of it there. I thought you'd had 4 goals by now.
Mum's moaning we haven't got enough goals yet.
Oh, she's right. I'll make
now,
Mum right.
Bowen's got himself into the box on a break, pulls the ball back. Oh, that should have been 2. That really should have been 2. Ben Rama sort of came in, didn't get much on it, and it was sort of cleared. But promising again from West Ham. So as Luton run the ball out of play. So again, it's a bit of slack play at the back from Luton. Loose ball, Antonio wins it. Bowen gets on the rides a tackle. It's a good ball to Ben Rama, but he was too slow attacking the ball. And the defender just got a foot in there, kicked it onto Ben Rama. Whereas Ben Rama had been a little bit more alert and on that ball, attacking that ball, we'd be 2-0 up.
I think it was Reece Burke with a foot in. He's had a couple of times tonight. He's obviously shown that you haven't knocked the West out of him completely.
Back on the sorry, gentlemen. Back on the transfer front. Just very briefly, the chaps watching the game. I'm spending more time watching my social media feed this evening. But Fabrice Hawkins, who is a journalist for RMC Sport in France, is claiming that PSG have decided they will not be selling Hugo Ekitike, despite having received loan offers from both West Ham United and Crystal Palace today. So we'll just check to see. We thought they may be willing to move if West Ham came back with a second offer, but it looks like, according to Fabrice, that PSG have decided that he's not going anywhere, which seems a bit strange to me, given that, as we said, he's fourth or fifth choice striker, not really going to get a look at Paris this year. But we'll see if anything happens. Time rapidly running out for West Ham to do anything there anyway. 9:15, less than 2 hours of the transfer window left to go for someone to make a move and bring other players in. Meanwhile, it's 1-0 to West Ham at Kenilworth Road. The only goal of the game coming from Jared Bowen. We did have the ball in the net a few minutes ago for a second time when Emerson scored a really decent finish. But it was ruled out because of an offside from Mickey Antonio. Any signs of any changes yet, chaps, from either side?
Nothing from either side at the moment.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd be reasonably happy the way we've set up, the way we're dealing with stuff. We're obviously beginning to turn the screw a little bit more as Luton chased the game a little bit and have to throw more men forward. They've not shown any more change, like even evidence of making a change themselves, but I think that'll be imminent.
Okay, let's we'll keep an eye on that as Luton are attacking on my screen, just trying to keep an eye on some of these messages. Liverpool have completed the signing of Bayern's Ryan Gravenberch. Can tell you that's another done deal. We need a ching 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 thing in the top of the screen.
Bit of a let off there. Ball swung into the box, and both Areola and Emerson basically left it. Alger had left it to each other. Oh, sorry, I've been slightly distracted, but my mum opening a beer for me. So, ball just said prodded out for a goal kick, but that really was poor defending. And as I think Soufal has been pulled back, so it's a free kick.
Have Chelsea signed anyone in the last 2 hours?
About 12 players, probably, judging by their current standard. They signed someone earlier, didn't they? I'm trying to think. Oh, Cole Palmer, wasn't it? From Man City for 40 million.
Cole Palmer, which is neither one or the other, is it?
Yes. Well, what did you make of that deal, chaps? I mean, it seems to be an extraordinary fee for a player who's barely featured in the Premier League yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Dealing to the transfer logic.
Sorry, my fault for not coming to either way. Go on, though. You go first. We'll come to Rio after.
Well, just Chelsea's dealings in the transfer market kind of defy logic anyway, don't they? I mean, it's it's just going back when they had money to burn from the Russian mafia. So I'm just watching a bit of play develop here, but it's been snapped out. Although there's a free kick given to Luton as part of it. It just defies logic. So I mean, they're getting in while they can, signing all these players on these 8-year deals, which will be outlawed. If they were in Europe, which they're not, then they wouldn't be able to sign these players on these deals. But domestically, they haven't changed the rules so that to bring it in line with Europe. So you can domestically, you can only do a 5-year. Europe is only a 5-year thing. You can still get away with the 8 years domestically.
Yeah, absolutely spot on.
Cheers.
Talking of Chelsea, Spurs are making a late bid for Conor Gallagher, according to Ben Jacobs of he's ex Telegraph, isn't he, Ben Jacobs? But but apparently Chelsea's valuation, which he doesn't mention, has put them off. So another potential player linked with West Ham reasonably strongly in recent weeks, possibly still on the move before the 11 p.m. deadline kicks in. It's still 1-0 here at Kenilworth Road, just coming up to the hour mark. The Hammers still ahead, courtesy of Jared Bowen's first half goal. Rio, I'll come back to you on what we were just talking about there. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Luton had just forced a corner in the meantime, just about to take it. Ball coming from the left-hand side, thankfully cleared, but they're turning the screw a little bit here. So the 2 or 3 occasions, the last 3 or 4 minutes that they've come forward and made things a little bit difficult for us. So the ball comes in It's not great, thankfully. But somehow the referee has made it another corner. I thought the Luton
That's a goal kick all day long.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah. They're not showing it again, which is always a laugh. Yeah. But that looks a goal kick all day long.
Bit more transfer news, gentlemen, while we're just waiting for that to happen. Jamal Baptiste, who, of course, 2 or 3 years ago was considered possibly the shining light of the West Ham Academy, destined to go on and do great things before he suffered that rather nasty injury that kept him out for months and months, was given a free transfer by West Ham at the end of the season. We were quite surprised to learn he'd signed or was linked with a move to Man City a couple of days ago. That deal's gone through. Jamal Baptiste has signed on a free transfer for Manchester City and been sent immediately out on loan to Belgian club Lommel SK, who play in the Challenger Pro League, which I think is the second division in Belgium, not the Jupiler, or the Jupiler, which is the first division. So good news. All the best to Jamal. He's a lovely lad. Really, really look like. What do you make of that, Rhea? I mean, it's a strange one, isn't it? We let him go because we didn't think he would ever, be in a position to play professional football again. And there he's signing for Man City 6 or 7 weeks later. I think there's more to it than meets the eye on that one.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? But the illness that he unfortunately developed, Guillain-Barré, very debilitating. It can knock someone completely for 6. Luckily, he's fit enough and young enough to overcome it and try and work his way back into things. But he obviously didn't. Now, what with the success of our youth team last year, now we thought maybe a fresh break was needed for both sides. So, but the boy's talent's not in doubt. It is his fitness, will this illness that he's had have a long-lasting effect? We don't know. Manchester City are in a far better place to take gambles than we are.
Yeah.
So, good luck to the lad. I mean, I hope he really becomes a success. I can't see it happening at City, but get his fitness and his confidence back up to speed, loan move away. They'll recoup some money on him down the line somewhere.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. No, we had an ooh just a few seconds ago.
Yeah, long driven cross on the right hand side from Soufal, found its way all the way out to Ben Rama, who took a touch, but his shot was straight at the keeper. We just saw some great defending there from Alvarez as well, shielding the ball out of play under pressure from the attacker there. So, Ben Rama might have done a bit better that, but it's one of those crosses from Soufal that he does put some welly on them, drives them across.
Yeah.
And they're sort of flat trajectory. I've just watched a Michael Antonio moment where he's controlled the ball beautifully, then got to lay it off and put too much on it and given it away. And it's like, how many times do we say that? Does the hard part. Now some very sloppy defensive midfield play there brings Luton back into the game.
Got to say, my favourite comment of the evening on the live chat coming from Alan Pardew's dad, who says Kurt Zuma reminds me of what Paolo Wanchop would have been were he a defender, which I thought was particularly good. Well done, APD. We like that one.
Yeah.
More transfer news quickly, and it's Nottingham Forest again. They're signing. Who are they signing this time? They've already signed Amaba Midali from Norwich, and it looks like they're about to sign Sangare, I think, from PSV, I believe. So I think that's their 4th signing today. So they're continuing where they carried on last year, but quality of player that they're bringing in, obviously that much better. But West Ham doesn't look like anything.
I've got an idea here, which will save everybody a lot of time and hassle over transfer window day.
Okay.
Why don't Chelsea just buy Forest and then loan them back to Nottingham and for the rest of the season?
Yeah. Yeah, those two have definitely had an unhealthy percentage of transfer news, haven't they?
It's a winner, I tell you.
Seasons.
It's a winner, I tell you. I'm wasted here,
Looks like Pablo Fornals is about to come on, according to Craven Moorhead posting on the live chat. Just quickly, I was just going to say there, I'm seeing other sources claim that the Ekitike deal is now officially off. PSG has said no to both West Ham and Palace. No idea why. Well, I do have an idea. It looks like they wanted a permanent deal, but neither club prepared to go in and offer that. As you say, Fornals is coming on, just receiving instructions from Kevin Nolan. Pleased to see that, chaps. Noman, I know you're a fan of Pablo's.
Yeah, I mean, freshen up things. The game's gone a little bit sort of static and stale at last 10 minutes. It's so maybe that'll just freshen up things a bit. The sort of thing we're seeing now. There was a long ball played in the general direction of Paquetá, who was never going to get that on a bike, never mind running. So Luton are going to make some changes as well. It's a lot of activity on the side. They will bring you details of that when it's sorted.
Certainly will. Thank you. Rio, do you think we're likely to see Kudus feature at all tonight?
I'm not so sure at the moment. The way things are going with Luton making life very difficult for us at the moment, and we're not exactly helping ourselves. Is this necessarily a game for Kudus?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure, particularly only a cursory manner of a couple of days of training with us.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if David Moyes will throw him into the fray, but we live in hope. I think if we was a bit more comfortable, maybe 2 or 3 goals up, he might contemplate it, but I just don't think he will at the moment.
We'll bring you confirmation.
Go 2-0 up, Kudos gets a run out.
Yeah, I get the feeling that of the two, if you're going to see either come on, it's probably more likely to be Max Cornet out of the two, but we shall see. David Moyes, of course, the last couple of games, I think he's made some reasonably early subs, hasn't he, Rio? I think it was around the hour mark against Brighton. We made a couple. So maybe that's
Souček, he was forced into in the first half.
Of course, yeah, that was 33, 34 minutes, wasn't it, the first one? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the Hammers, with their noses in front at the moment, still leading, courtesy of that 37-minute goal from Jarrod Bowen, the header from Lucas Paquetá's superb deep far post cross. That's the difference between the two teams at the moment. But it's West Ham pushing forward now in the final quarter of the game, looking to get the second that would surely secure West Ham's third win in a row and send us back to the top of the Premier League. But I think a draw would surely set us back.
No, Man City.
They won all 3, have they?
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, okay.
So we need the win. Yeah,
we do. Okay.
There you go. I'm
still stuck in the 70s and not looking at the league table until there's about 6 or 7 games played, which is crazy.
It used to be at 3, didn't it? It used to come out. It was.
Is that what it was? Because the papers never used to reproduce them, did they?
Yeah.
At the time, just seeing Mickey Antonio making a right nuisance of himself, bringing Jarrod Bowen in, but the move came to nothing. I'm still waiting for that West Ham change.
Yeah, ball hasn't gone out of play, so which is obviously what they're aiming for, I suppose. More ball in play, but must be very frustrating if you're a sub.
There were, of course, Rio, strong rumours that Fornals might be off during the transfer. And Sevilla were strongly linked with him, weren't they? I mean, are you pleased to see him stay?
I think the only rumours that really kind of have destroyed me even further than anything else would be Pablo leaving. I would have been absolutely distraught. So yeah. I'm more than happy to see him stay. I think we've got an option for another year because his contract officially ends this year. We've got 1 year to extend. But he's the kind of player that we should be keeping hold of because he looks like he loves the pace, as we know. When he comes on, we know what he offers in terms of footballing ability. I just think these are the kind of players, if we want to develop and progress as a club, we need him at least be on the periphery, if not involved on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
Totally and that's my last comment tonight, because not the first just bought me.
I think actually I've just received an offer on the phone for this
stream
from Nottingham Forest now. No?
Oh, it could be another. It should have been another. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. The flag's up anyway, so relief. Let's have a look. Yeah, probably just. Nice ball, but yeah, probably just. But yeah, Bowen tried to take it around the keeper. Keeper just got a touch on it, and which meant that Bowen couldn't control it, and they managed to clear it. But yeah, just offside. So no harm done, I suppose. So right, time for some changes, and Ben Rama is ambling off with 4 hours to come on. Luton have made a couple of substitutions. There's more to come, actually. So just trying to catch up with the. So yeah, we've got Giles Barkley and Adebayo off. Kabora and Panzu, who they're focusing on, and I didn't get the last one, are on. So Panzu there with his sort of dreadlocks and headband on. So he finally gets to play against us. So 3 changes for Luton, just the one for us.
Yeah, I'm just seeing that now. So if I can see the names, I'll clarify who's.
The names came up too quick for me to get the last one out. So
yeah. Well, there's just seeing Pablo Fornals enter the fray. As I say, I'm behind the other chaps here. Here we go. Kabore is on Brown and Mpanzu. Yeah. So they're the 3 changes for Luton, chasing that goal. Less than 20 minutes to go for them to try and claw their way back into this game. Of course, it's only going to take 1 goal. The Hammers just 1 goal ahead. It's on a knife edge right there. So Ben Rama, Rio, not his greatest game for the West Ham. I thought he was absolutely fantastic at Brighton last week. That pass for Jared for the was it the second or the third goal? Second, I think, wasn't it? Absolutely sublime. But it's just Ben Rama, isn't it? Inconsistent. Brilliant one week and anonymous the next.
Yeah, and it's very divisive on the forum in terms of like people's opinions of him. Should he be starting? Should he be more of a cameo appearance player? Is he the one we could upgrade on? And you've got to think that if Kudos is going to come into the team for anybody, Saeed looks like the one who's going to make way. But again, he's one of the players in our stage of development as a club. You'd have him on the periphery every day of the week because what he can do from the bench, as we saw last week, is wonderful. And you've seen what he's like at set pieces, his penalty taking ability, and his pace and his skill coming on late in the game could cause problems for many a defence. So, yeah, as we progress, obviously you want to kind of phase these players out, but at the moment he's ideal.
Yeah, good stuff. Transfer news. Thank you, Rio. Now, take this with a pinch of salt. If not a sack of salt, because this is coming from Football Insider, who don't have the greatest record for transfer accuracy, but they are claiming that Everton have approached West Ham at this late stage with regards to possible move for Max Cornet, who's on the bench at Luton as we speak. So not quite sure how he's going to undergo a medical before 11 p.m. But we'll see what happens there. Again, as I say, I do stress this is coming from Footy Insider, not seen it from anyone else right now. So, treat it with caution, but we'll just another one for us to watch. We're down to the last 16 minutes here at Kenilworth Road. It's still Luton 0, West Ham United 1. Nome, West Ham with just the 1 change so far. Pablo Fornals coming in for Said Ben Rama.
Yeah, just watching it. Luton, there's a spell of sort of sustained pressure without really doing anything in it, and we've managed to win the ball back. We can come away with it, and just going to sort of calm it down now and try and play it out from the back. Now Bowen does well to get the better of his marker, who catches up with him. He's held up in traffic down there, but he's got the ball down towards the corner flag. Does get a crossing of sorts, but it's not quite falling for Ward-Prowse. But we win it back there. That's Alvarez gets a foot in, and we can go again. So, just for a few minutes there, I just thought we might be lapsing into what we did against Bournemouth, which was deliberately sort of sitting back. But as I say, when we did win the back, it was like maybe we were just having a breather. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Then
we go and give away a loose ball. Silly. That final whistle is beginning to approach now.
That final whistle is beginning to approach now. As I say, I do stress this is coming from Footy Insider, not seen it from anyone else right now. So, treat it with caution, but we'll just another one for us to watch. We're down to the last 16 minutes here at Kenilworth Road. It's still Luton 0, West Ham United 1. Nome, West Ham with just the 1 change so far. Pablo Fornals coming in for Said Ben Rama.
Yeah,
Still about 15 minutes to go, but we would desperately like to see another goal. Rio, although it's Luton, it struck me this was always destined to be a close game. We saw it at Forest last year. Noam and I were fortunate enough to be there. First game back in especially for Luton. I mean, same as Forest. It's so many years since they've been back in the top flight. Always going to be a tough occasion to play against. The old cliche. It's a tough place to go to on occasions like this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even back in the heyday of Luton Town, it was never a comfortable place to go in more ways than one. The way that things have been hyped up, them playing their first few games away from home, their home support has been hyped up and anticipating this moment. And obviously, the atmosphere has been, I wouldn't say raucous, but it's been very lively. It's like you say, it's a tough place to go. These kind of grounds are pretty much of an alien concept for a lot of Premiership players. I don't think Lucas Paquetá played in an environment like this. So, it's going to be a bit of a culture shock for a lot of people. But so far, we're doing the job. We're not being fantastic, let's put it that way. But we're doing enough at the moment. And we just got to make sure we keep our concentration, be sensible, and see the job out.
Good stuff. Thank you, Rio. Just quickly going back to Vic Watson, we mentioned he was the last West Ham player to score in the opening 3 away games of the season. And just looking back at his stats for that, it's quite interesting because he only played 18 games. He was 33 at the time, 34 in November of that year. So he was definitely on his last legs as far as being a pro player back in those days are concerned. Anyway, you didn't see too many people, especially forwards, go on to play in their mid-30s. But Vic was, of course, a unique player. Only 18 appearances for West Ham that season, scored 14 goals. Not a bad record. Not
bad. You're not missing much on the game, by the way. There's been a substitution for Luton. Doty went off and Ogbeni has come on, and it's just literally just been restarted, and it ends up with an aimless ball being played by West Ham up for a goal kick. So, in case anyone was wondering.
Excellent. Thank you for the brief update.
Yeah. Now, Ings is being prepped to come on. With Nolan looking at the I keep wanting to say laptop, but tablet at the moment. So I think Antonio's game may have run its course. That'd be the usual swap. It's very, very scrappy at the moment. There's no real pattern to the play either way. Again, nothing. Just trying to see if that is down on the floor. Is that Zuma? Went up for a header, landed awkwardly. So another stoppage in play. Just like to say that my flight is at 2:05 tomorrow afternoon. If they keep adding on the time, I might be in danger of missing it. So
my concern about this impending substitution, as it has been for much of the season, is once you take Mikel Antonio off and you bring Dan Ings on, is the ball comes back into our opposition, into our half, far quicker than it would normally. And just invites us under even more pressure. So I'm not a big fan of it. I get what Dan Ings brings in terms of goal threat and being able to play in behind defences, but it's just inviting the pressure onto our own defence. We really don't need, particularly in this environment at the moment.
Just a bit of a comedy moment there. The linesman's held up the number board, and it basically said that number 9 was coming off to be replaced by number 9. So save yourself the run, Antonio. You might as well stay there. So, he spotted the error and put the thing up, and it is now Ings coming on. I suppose we've run out of 1s and 8s. He could have just done 9 plus 9 is 18.
Well, we are just about in the final 10 minutes of regulation time. The Hammers still leading by 1-0. Second change there for West Ham. Pablo Fornals already on for Said Benrahma in the 71st minute, 9 minutes or so ago. And now Danny Ings, who many thought would be on his way before tonight's deadline, still at the club and playing for West Ham. Rio, is he a decent backup for Mickey Antonio, or should we be looking to do a bit better?
I think we're looking for better. I think we're looking for a more Antonio-esque player in terms of his build and strength, really, which we really need, because it makes the whole team tick more. When you get Daniels up front on his own playing a lone furrow, it doesn't suit him. It doesn't suit our style of play. If we was playing with two up front, again, I'm going to reiterate it, at the stage of our development, you could afford to have a Daniels type character on the bench to come on and play alongside an Antonio-esque player. You'd see a lot more return from him. He's just not suited to our style, and he's not had the build, and he hasn't got the fitness anymore either.
Good stuff. Thank you.
First yellow card of the game goes to, I think that's Alvarez, isn't it? It was Emerson, sorry. Basically, Paqueta tried to make out it had been blocked off the ball where it was something and nothing. The referee rightly waved play on. As the player came away, Emerson blocked him off. Cynical foul, no complaints. I just wish Paqueta would stop going to the ground quite so easily. Don't like it, don't want to see it. Now, I thought their Bowen was going to get through. Didn't quite make it, and in the end, it's a free kick to Luton. But Luton were very sort of square at the back there, and it would have had Bowen clear through if he just could have got there half a second earlier. So, yeah, I was just looking at the comments on the live chat there. Saying ref's been awful, he's not had much. Well, to be honest, I think that was in reference to Emerson being booked. I don't think we got any complaints there.
Okay, good stuff. Bit more transfer news. Thank you, Dome. Nicolo Shearer reporting that João Felix has completed his move from Atletico to Barcelona on loan. Bizarre how the top clubs seem to shuffle these players around. But there you go. João Felix is a Barcelona player for the following season. Was that a woo? Did I miss a woo there? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, bit of a scramble in the goal mouth there. Ending up with a shot that I thought that might have been a corner as well. Luton are apoplectic about it not being a corner. I think it was Alvarez who, when the ball went over, basically just went like that, like knowing he got a block in. So the fact he was given a goal kick, we can see, well, that's a lovely turn from Paqueta now. Bowen plays back to Paqueta. Bowen gets the cross in, nearly just got out for a corner. Some nice little interplay between Bowen and Paqueta there. A wry grin from Bowen at not being able to make more of it. But so corner at West Ham, and Ward-Prowse comes over again. Again, Bowen sort of stands over as if he's going to be involved in the corner when, actually Bowen's now running into the box. Makes more sense. You're not going to get anything stood there. So anyway, corner comes across. And it's 2-0.
Yes.
And it's Zuma, I think. Yeah, Zuma's going away taking the celebration. And you got Ward-Prowse on the corner duty. Something's going to happen eventually, and that's the biggest grin you'll see in that ground. It was the Barry Davis commentary. Just look at his face. I think is the.
Just look at his face.
Yeah, Francis Lee, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, he's got away. He's managed to make himself some space. Effectively, a free header. And he's done well because it's slightly behind him. Now he's had to sort of go and jackknife himself into position, but it's inside the post. That's a good header.
Yeah, it's also the sort of goal that will see Luton relegated this season because that is just basic defending. I think Reece Burke possibly at fault there. He was furious at someone or himself, but basic stuff. But James Ward-Prowse doing it again, Rio. That's 3 assists and a goal in is it 3 appearances now, I think, for the Hammers this season. Great stuff.
He's thoroughly earning the nickname that I've given him. And it's only just me who's given him an all of the postman, because it may be late, but he's delivered again. Set pieces is quality. He pops up with a goal. He works hard. He's not had the greatest of games today, but
no,
he's always worth a place on the pitch just for these kind of incidents.
What?
We've just conceded a penalty.
Oh.
No, he's pointing to the goal kick, actually. That's why I went what, because there was no way it was a penalty. He's taken the ball clean as anything.
Fantastic tackle.
And in fact, what he's done is he's kicked it onto the Luton player.
Who are we talking about now?
Again.
And it's gone out for a goal kick. So he was pointing as if it in the general direction of a goal kick. And obviously that was mistaken for a penalty. So panic over.
Sorry, that's my fault.
Kept you on your toes for a bit. It was a slight worry there. The ball went at the box. It's a great tackle from Alvarez. But do you know what? I said this on the forum after the Brighton game. He worries me. I've got to say this. Edson Alvarez worries me. Now, if he was playing under Alan Pardew, he would be losing money on a weekly basis, because as any of you will remember, Alan Pardew used to fine his players for going to ground during a game. He was absolutely adamant they must stay on their feet at all costs. Edson Alvarez loves going to ground. Saw it at Ajax. If you look at some of the clips of him playing for Ajax, he's constantly putting good tackles. But it's those sort of challenges, as you chaps all know, that 9 times out, or maybe even 99 times out of 100, you're going to get it spot on. That one occasion you get it wrong, it's going to cost you. I think he's got a penalty and possibly a red card in him. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he's certainly started well, but
it only needs to be slightly mistimed.
Exactly.
But having said that, we got a second card of the game, which has gone to the wonderfully named Marvellous Nkamba. He's just left his foot in, and the referee actually sort of gestured that was the second time he'd been a bit naughty, and he had the benefit of the doubt for the first. So again, I don't think anyone can complain about it. And we're just coming up to 88 minutes, so there'll be a few minutes added on, because a couple of times players have gone down. I'd say about 4 minutes at the moment. So I haven't got the sound turned up very, very loudly, but you can hear "We're going to win the league" being chanted in the background. By the
home fans.
It's
safe to say. Bit of transfer news, gentlemen. Just coming in quickly. Wolves look like they've completed the signing of Strasbourg midfielder Jean-Ric Bellegarde, £12.8 million deal. Wolves, of course, big trouble. They were looking at Aaron Cresswell earlier in the window. No money at all. Sold their best player to Man City earlier in the week, but they have managed to bring someone in. So bit of late transfer news there. We're just over an hour to go until the end of the transfer window. Kurt Zuma's last goal, gentlemen. Can you remember? Was it Liverpool? Anyone?
Rio, you're the stat man.
Rio's always best at these.
I'd have a guess at Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's the last one I can remember, but that doesn't mean it's the last one.
Captain, named as captain. I don't know if that's temporary or not. We haven't really had any confirmation yet, have we, from the club? But he's certainly been wearing the armband this season. So good stuff. Good to see. And of course, another one who's been linked with a move away. Lots of talk about Saudi clubs perhaps coming in for Zuma and offering West Ham a deal they couldn't possibly refuse.
I don't know what their attitude out there is to keeping pets, though. So, maybe there's a bit of a culture thing there.
I've got another quick stat attack for you, chaps. James Ward-Prowse, with 1 goal and 3 assists, as we mentioned just a few moments ago, has become the first player to either score or assist a goal in each of his first 3 Premier League appearances for West Ham. There you go, breaking all kinds of records tonight. Mentioned the one earlier about Jarrod Bowen being the first player to score West Ham's first 3 away games of the season since Vic Watson 1930, 31 season. So anyway, we're in the. Have we had any idea yet of how much we've got added on? No,
Yeah,
you suggested
5.
about
It's
4.
just come up now. 5
5
minutes.
Thank you.
And
So
it looks like
Kudos.
Kudos is going to be on for that. Paquetá's coming off, and Kudos is just getting ready to come on. Paquetá is taking a slow stroll, ambling off, aiming a round of applause at the crowd, and who was Dan Beers pointed out, if you look at the stand, where the away support is, it's Noble Solicitors. So surely that's an oxymoron, isn't it?
he's had a busy day today, hasn't he, Nobes? I don't know if you chaps saw him, but he was pulling the balls out in the draw for the Conference League. Took the Conference League trophy with him to UEFA HQ earlier in the day, and was having a bit of trouble. He was coming across a little bit Steve McLaren with some of the pronunciations. There's a little. I've retweeted anyway.
Yeah.
If you go to the KUMB.com Twitter feed, you can see it on there. But it's quite funny. But lovely to see Nobes performing that role. Lucas Paquetá, the player coming off for Mo Kudus. Who's been warmly welcomed by the West Ham fans who have been singing for the second week in a row. Are you watching Declan Rice? I bet he is.
It's 2-1.
2-1. Oh, well.
Yeah, West Ham hadn't settled since the sub's been made. Long ball played in, headed across goal, and nobody really picked up the player there. Let's see, it was. Yeah, good header. I mean, Ariella was stranded. Well, this is interesting. I mean, we got 3 minutes left. I'd be rather pleased if we got another one now, for financial reasons.
Yeah. Luke back in it. West Ham still. That just goes to show how important that Kurt Zuma goal was, doesn't it, Rio? But we're going to have to a bit of backs to the wall for the last 2 or 3 minutes.
No.
Yeah, we never make things easy, do we? Yeah, it's just a little, like, as Noam rightly said, like, we had any kind of settled, even kind of lineup once the substitution come on. Everyone seemed a bit confused, a little bit complacent, and that little lapse of concentration. And we're going to make these last 2 or 3 minutes very, very tricky for us indeed. And I too have money on this, so I'm not particularly happy at the moment.
Anderson scoring the goal for Luton that gives them a chance of getting something from the game. They're going to have to hurry up, though, because time is rapidly running out.
Just force the corner. So,
I'm going over to
you. We got. Sorry, your mum's walked in. We've got about 2 minutes left, and we're winning 2-1.
I know.
Yes, my mum is invoking an ancient Celtic. Sorry, just watching the ball there. An ancient Celtic blessing, which goes something like Dusha Dusha, which legend has it, if she says it, we'll win. Yeah. It's an Irish thing.
Yeah.
Now,
not long to go now.
Yeah,
just interestingly, just looking at the stats briefly, West Ham 62% possession today, Rio, which is unheard of.
It's different, isn't it? Like, it's very different for us.
Yeah.
Mo Kudus' first touch on West Ham in a West Ham shirt. And bearing in mind he's bought as one of our line, the new shining light of our attack from playing anywhere along the front line, was a 30-yard hike out of his own box. Welcome to West Ham.
They've got to him already. He's only been here one day. They've already got him poofing 50-yard punts away from nowhere. Yeah. How long we got left, chaps? How long will we?
Now then, as that cross came across, it's hit Ward-Prowse on the arm. It's flicked off a player in front of him, so I think he'll get the benefit. In fact, he has, because they're playing on down here now. But if that had been straight from the cross, right corner, but it's a goal kick. So we're actually 95 minutes have been played, so it's just the time added on for really what little goal celebrations they had. Now Luton obviously got a long shit long. It's fallen nicely for them. Ball's crossed in. Oh, they've got a man over here, and it's blocked. And it's headed back, but Ariola will come and pick that up. And I think that'll be a lot as soon as he clears that.
Come on, referee, blow that bloody whistle. Let's get it over and done with. Seconds remaining. Hopefully West Ham can just about hang on here to secure a third win of the season. Chaps, I'll pass it over to you. Noam, do you want to take us through to the final whistle?
Yeah. Well, yeah, so Luton tried to clear it long, and Kudos basically gets a block in, puts out for a throw in. We're coming up with 96 played now, and it's launched long, but that's just going to go through to Ariola, who's got time to dribble it around. In fact, there's the final whistle. So top of the league. Silly last few minutes, really, but top of the league. Cheers, all.
There you go. It has finished Luton Town 1, West Ham United 2. Jarrod Bowen sending West Ham into the lead 8 minutes before the half-time whistle. Lucas Paquetá's deep cross to the far post. Bowen with a header. Headed it straight at the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper fortunately fell over and the ball going into the back of there. We had to wait a long time for the second goal. Kurt Zouma it was who grabbed it in the end. 5 minutes for the end of full time. It was a James Ward-Prowse corner. His third assist for the Hammers since moving to the club earlier in the transfer window. He's only played 3 games, 3 assists and 1 goal. Kurt Zouma scoring his first goal of the season, the current club captain. The postman, as his Ward-Prowse has been nicknamed by Rio. Looked like we were coasting towards a 2-0 win, but of course, being West Ham, it couldn't possibly be that easy, could it? And Mads Anderson got up to score a consolation, as it was for the Hatters in the end, in the second minute of 6 added on. But West Ham managing to hold on for the win that sends them, as Noam rightly pointed out, back to the top of the Premier League. 3 wins and a draw from the opening 4 games. Rio, I'm amazed. I certainly wasn't down with all the doom mongers and naysayers in the summer, but even still, this is a pretty remarkable start, isn't it, by all accounts?
Remarkable, unexpected, and delightful. Wasn't a great performance tonight, but it's a very difficult place to go. Luton aren't a great side, but they will make everyone who visits Kenilworth Road work for their points. How many times have we seen in the past that we capitulate to teams like this on occasions like this? And yet we dug out a result. More importantly, they've kept me in my knockout competition from a cricket club. So my money is at the moment still safe and riding on. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to win titles, which now we're in the mix now, you've got to win. You can't win by playing free-flowing, pretty football week in, week out, even on the counter-attack. Sometimes you've got to dig in and earn hard-fought victories. And that's exactly what we did tonight. And like I said, it wasn't pretty at all. Wasn't easy on the eye. And we had to see a different changing approach today. Whereas in the first 3 games of the season, we conceded a lot of possession, hit on the counter, and looked really threatening and clinical doing that. Tonight, We've had to dig in, work and fight for points. And we've done it. We was the better side. But now we still make lives a little bit difficult for ourselves at times. But we're getting over the line. And top of the league, incredibly happy. I mentioned earlier how impressed I was about our transfer window activity. There's one key element missing for me. But I don't see how anyone who's a West Ham fan can be despondent at the moment or downhearted, because look at our league position, look at the way we've responded to a very, very tricky summer. Now, life's good at the moment.
Certainly is. Before I come to Noam for his verdict on the game, a bit more transfer news for you. Chelsea's Ian Matson, who had been linked with a move to West Ham all summer, and looked like he might be going to Burnley earlier in the day. Burnley and Chelsea understood to have agreed a fee of around £30 million for the fullback, who rejected the move to Turpmore. Said, no, I want to stay and fight for my place. And that's exactly what's going to happen, because he's apparently ready to sign a new deal at Chelsea. But we don't care about that. He's not come to West Ham. But just to put the seal on that particular story anyway for the transfer window. We'll be coming back to it in just a minute because we've got just over an hour to go. Doesn't look like West Ham are going to be doing any more business, but come back to tonight for now. West Ham winning their third successive Premier League game, 2-1 at Kenilworth Road. Noam, what did you make of the performance overall this evening?
It was good enough. We'll play better than that this season, and we'll have to on occasion. But I think Luton were riding on the back of the emotion of the thing, and when you're up against that, you've got to deal with it. You've got to cope with it, and sort of silence the crowd if you like. And we did that well. So it was, a functional performance. 3 points, that'll do. And nice to go into the. It's comparing last year when we went into sort of international breaks, sort of thing, thinking, oh, thank God it's an international break. We don't have to play next week. It's nice to go to an international break in a better frame of mind. So I've just got to pick up on something on the live chat, just only because it's a reference that probably only Words and Pictures, Mr. or Ms, has come up with a phrase that just says, "Paradise, Campari and lemonade, anyone?" Now, I think Rio might get that. I'm not sure about you, Gray, but
I saw it. I did see it, and I was thinking kind of Joan Collins and Leonard Rossiter, but probably not.
You're sort of in the rough general area, but different ad.
Okay.
Rio will remember it.
Yeah, Sir Miss Lorraine Chase.
He's the one, yeah.
Of course, the Luton Airport ad, of course.
Where you truly wafted here from Paradise, and she goes, "Nah, Luton Airport." so I had to
Thank
mention
you, Words
that.
and Pictures, for giving us that one. Yes.
Listen, guys, I'm going to turn the television onto a different channel so that because my mum, bless her, has been sitting in the other room all night and all lonely. And she did ask me to mention that she's in the market for a toy boy. So if you one of you guys missed that, so I'm going to
send your applications to Noam, please, via the usual address.
Anyway, I'll give you the remote, Mum. I can still carry on talking, but
no worries.
On the screen
let's stick on it for a little while if we can, Noam, because as I said, we are in the final hour of the transfer window. Doesn't look like we're going to need to go all the way to the wire to 11 p.m. because it doesn't look like West Ham are doing anything. But we'll just keep an eye on that for now. But of course, the big story today, nothing to do with transfers. West Ham United at top of the Premier League, having taken 10 points from our first 4 games of the season. Let's talk man of the match now. Rio. No one really stood out today, but a few candidates in there perhaps. Who's taking your award this evening?
Well, I noticed on the actual Sky commentary, excuse me, my iPad's deciding to. The actual Sky commentary team, Kurt Zuma, whose stats did really bear fruit. I think it was 10 interceptions, 8 clearances, and obviously the winning goal. I can't really disagree with it too much. Anyone else I possibly would have given it, I know you're a bit dubious about his style of defending at times, but I thought Alvarez had a really good game.
Yeah, agreed.
But I think those two were the pick for me.
Good stuff. Noam, how about yourself? As I said, no real standout candidates there this evening, but who took your vote?
I'm not going to argue with Sky on this occasion. I think Zuma was like a rock at the back, and just purely for the joy on his face when he scored. I mean, it was the biggest grin you'll ever see. I'll give it Zuma.
Good stuff. There you go. Let us know who you felt was the best player on the pitch for West Ham via the live chat if you're still with us. Thank you. By the way, just say to everybody who's joined us once again for this evening's stream, stick with us. We're not going anywhere just yet. We're going to just stick around for a little bit longer just to see if there's any big moves happening in the transfer. It doesn't look like anything's really going to happen. West Ham were in for Hugo Ekitike, but sorry, no.
It's all the same to you. I'll take my leave of you now.
Okay.
So it's always a bit awkward not being in my own place. So I'll let Mum watch her TV news and all that, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, take care. Good to see you on the stream. And yeah, we'll catch up again soon. There you go, buddy. See you later.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.
So then it was just two of us, Rio and myself. Let's have a little shuffle over here, Rio. Let me just put you over there, because your arm's sticking out that way, and I'll come over this side, and that's better. I think we're do that a bit. There we go. We can have a bit more room now. Yeah, I mean, it's quite remarkable, isn't it, Rio? You know, all the doom merchants were out. Everyone was predicting West Ham were, you know, Moyes was going to have a terrible start to the season, probably going to be sacked by October or November. It couldn't have got any better, really, could it? It's what do you put it down to?
I've actually, I hate to do this, but I want to give a little bit of credit to the board, because yes, we had the Declan Rice money burn a hole in our pocket.
Yeah,
but they've delivered what appears to be every single one of David Moyes' targets, obviously barring probably one position. And we've not overpaid for any of them. We've not allowed clubs to kind of bully us into paying way over the top for players that, like today with Maatsen, he's obviously looks a very good and very promising prospect. But is he worth £30 million? Not for my money.
Just seems crazy money, that, doesn't it, for a player a bit like the Cole Porter situation?
Yeah,
he's barely played in the Premier League. It's going for this astonishing amount of money.
Yeah, I know Chelsea have set the standard because they're paying out stupid money, but trying to recoup it as well, you know, I just don't get it. We've bought Alvarez for what looks a very good fee. James Ward-Prowse, a player of proven Premiership quality, a player who, this is why I've nicknamed it, delivers not only great ability from set pieces, which create goal scoring opportunities on a regular basis.
Yeah,
he works his nuts off in that centre of midfield. He's no slouch with his ability on the ball. You know, was it £30 million?
Yeah,
we've rebuilt our midfield for what we basically sold Declan Rice for.
Yeah,
we've had a bit of star quality possibly in Kudus, who I know he's not proven it yet, but what I've seen of him when he played for Ajax, what I've seen him when he played for Ghana in the World Cup, the boy's got some real potential, and he's versatile as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a real big bonus for us. The fact there was a lot of clubs after him, you know, and yet we managed to do it through, thankfully, Tim Styden's on the ball, and despite the fact everyone was slagging him off at the start of the window, what he's doing, you know, what is his role? He's at loggerheads with Moyes. He seems to have done some wonders in the transfer market in the last 3 weeks.
Certainly has, and he certainly enjoyed himself, hasn't he? He looks like he's been going. I think he was in Brazil earlier in the week, wasn't he? By all accounts, didn't bring a player back, but yeah, he looks like he's had a bit of fun. Can I just go back? Just going back to a point I made earlier. I was talking about Kurt Zouma being the captain. You're right there, Rio. And
my iPad is deciding to have a foray at the top of the table in celebration.
It's doing a West Ham. It's fair to say. Yeah, I mentioned Kurt Zouma was currently the captain. David Moyes did say the other day that he will confirm who the captain is going to be for the season once the transfer window closes. So we're expecting an announcement on that over the weekend, I guess, at some point. Couple of other little bits of tidbits for you. James Ward-Prowse, another little stat from our friends at Opta. James Ward-Prowse has assisted 17 goals from dead ball situations in the Premier League over the last 5 seasons. The most of any player. The closest to him is Trent Alexander-Arnold with 12. So it just goes to show what a valuable asset JWP has been to Southampton and already for West Ham. I mean, as Rio was saying that, we bought him for about 30 million, and he's certainly paid a fair chunk of that back already with 3 assists and a goal, which has seen Kurt Zouma being interviewed by Sky TV. No doubt he's going to be a delighted player, having scored what ultimately turned out to be the winning goal. Finally, news from the under-21s this evening. They've been playing at home to Everton. Didn't start so well, went a goal down early on, but goals from Lewis Orford, Callum Marshall and Gideon Kadua gave the under-21s a great start to the new campaign, a 3-1 win against Everton. So it's just been a great night for West Ham so far, really. I think the only thing that's probably missing is that transfer deadline day signing that might have given us all a little bit more of a boost.
Yeah, but as much as we want it, if David Moyes hasn't got the right kind of player in, the player that's going to fit his system, fit the team ethic, fit within the squad, do we really want to waste more money on someone who doesn't fit the bill?
Yeah,
we wasted money on Haller. We wasted a lot of money on Skamaka, not because they were poor players, but just they didn't fit the ethos of the club at the time. And I'd much rather keep the money while we've still got, as we discussed earlier on, it's possibly the best ever squad we have. I know we rely heavily on Mikel Antonio, but we've got the promising prospect of Divan Mbamo coming through. He might get more game time because of this. And everyone loves to see a youth player come through and make an impact. And he fits the bill in terms of physicality. He's obviously very raw, but if the manager includes him in the squad on such a regular basis and he's given him more time than he has a lot of the youngsters in the past, you know, the signs are promising that he might get more game time and stake a claim. And with more game time, he might develop and hone his skills and become a real big asset. He might even save us a fortune in the transfer market in the next couple of years. I just think we're doing everything right as a club at the moment. And I actually don't think I can remember when Tom really said that about West Ham, because off the pitch we look like, you know, the influence of Mr. Sullivan's diminishing a little bit. We've not overspent, despite the fact we have money burning a hole in our pocket. We're bringing the right character and calibre of player by what we've seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I'm just impressed with the way we've gone about our business. It's been quiet. It has been. It's not been to everyone's taste because, you know, everyone wants the crash bang wallop of instant success. Bring him in, bring them in. Right? He's the player that we watch on Sky. It's not Football Manager we're playing here. It's Premiership top flight football, and you've got to do things professionally, not at the whim of a support who, you know, I hate to say it, sometimes a little bit naive about the real worlds of the way that football operates.
Yeah, totally agree. Thank you for that, Rio. Little bit more news. This one won't go away. Hugo Ekitike, bid rejected by PSG from Crystal Palace earlier today. Bid rejected from West Ham this evening. £5 million, €5 million loan fee with a €30 million offer at the end of the season. We're now hearing that Zenit St. Petersburg have also, they've clearly not got the memo from PSG, who are apparently telling clubs that Ekitike is not for sale because they've gone in with a bid of €40 million apparently for the player. So we don't know what's happening there, but I think it's fair to say he's not going to be coming to West Ham because it's unlikely we'll be matching that bid. But what do you make of that one, Rhea? I mean, it's clear there's been some interest there from West Ham. We've been looking at that deal for the last week or so. Firm bid, you know, we're awaiting confirmation from other perhaps more established sources than Santi Uona, who mentioned it earlier. But what do you make of that? I mean, it looks like we were in for a striker. But it's a similar story, isn't it, with David Moyes? If he's not getting the player he wants, it's not happening. He's prepared to go with what he wants, which yet again is Mickey Antonio. But of course, we have got the buffer, I suppose, of Danny Ings in there now, and of course the likes of Bowen and Kudus, who can also play in that central role.
Yeah, I think it's clear to the whole footballing world that we want another striker. But it's also clear to David Moyes he actually wants a certain type of player, rather than just going out and buy anyone that moves for the sake of it. I think as a club, we've had our fingers burnt far too many times in the last few years. You know, we are desperate for a striker. We do need another body up front, but we want a certain type of player and a certain type of character.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather wait while we have options that we can utilise. I mean, like you mentioned, David Moyes actually mentioned himself, didn't he, that we might adapt the play to accommodate Jared Bowen up front. And we've got Kudus who can augment and play anywhere along the attacking midfield line. And he can also play up front. So we're not a one-dimensional side. We do rely heavily on Mikel Antonio, but we can change the way we approach games. We can play in a different style. We have got the calibre of a player who can adapt and we've got players who can slot into various positions along that forward line. So if we don't get someone in tonight, it's not the end of the world. Obviously, Mikel is not getting any younger, and it has to be addressed soon. But while he's still performing to a pretty good degree, why rush? Why panic? Why waste money? That, how much we wasted, like we mentioned last time. Hilaire, we wasted so much. I think we lost, was it £20 million in the space of a year? 2 years?
45, wasn't it? We bought him for and sold him for 22 to Ajax.
Yeah, and we had numerous occasions where, like Felipe Anderson, we lost a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's why I'm not going to hold this up myself.
I thought you'd done a gnome there for a second. You just dropped off of the screen as if someone had opened a trap door under it. That's enough. We've had enough Rio tonight.
But yeah, we've wasted so much money in the past, and with that money we could have utilised elsewhere and saved, and not been in this position. Now we never done due diligence as a football club. It looks like we're becoming a bit more of a professional outfit over the last 5 or 6 months, and who'd believe that we would actually finally make them forays into be a more professional, streamlined club with an actual plan, which I think we've actually got one now.
Yeah, it's beginning to look like it, isn't it? There's certainly seems to be some cohesion all around the club from the backroom stuff. I mean, the only thing I think we're missing now is probably a couple of first team coaches, because we saw that the number fall away a little bit, but at the end of last season. But it's astonishing. Everything's going far too well at the moment, but we'll just enjoy the ride while we can. It's been a bit of a ride for the last couple of seasons. Couple of other things coming back to the game. XG stat wise, like to look at this one. Luton 1.56 compared to West Ham's 0.98. I think that might be our lowest XG of the season so far. Didn't create an awful lot of chances in front of goals. In fact, just looking at the match stats, they were as follows. Luton 39% possession to West Ham 61. Luton 16 shots, 1 on target, which was the goal. It's pretty. They're going to have to improve there. West Ham only 9 shots today and 3 on target. 9 corners to Luton, 6 to West Ham. Luton committing 8 fouls to West Ham's 13. West Ham getting the lion's share of possession for the first time this season. That's going to bump our average up a little bit, right, Rio? Because what were we on? Was it 27%? I think, wasn't it, for the first 3 games of the season? So that will help. Yeah,
no, things looking up. We're going to have to encounter this at various stages of the season. We can't always play the David Moyes favoured counter-attacking style. There are teams who, like Luton, are going to concede a lot more possession, make us ask the questions rather than the other way around. And I say we have got the players in the likes of Paquetá, who, if Manchester City want him, that's a huge endorsement in my eyes. Yeah. And he can obviously play in any kind of style you want. We've got these players, and we're increasing the calibre of the players coming in, because those comes with a huge reputation from a total football side like Ajax. We're doing everything right. It's so weird to say. We're doing everything right.
It's really strange.
And we're bringing in proper footballers at the moment, rather than just throwing money at someone because they've got a bit of a reputation. It's just weird to say it. Top of the league, being professional. Who'd have thought it?
We are top of the league. See, we are top of the league. Little stat for you before I come back to the game. Check this one out. This is a combined statistic for the 3 promoted clubs. So who we got? Sheffield, Luton, Burnley. Thank you. 3 clubs promoted at the end of last season. Their combined record in the Premier League so far reads thusly: played 8, won none, drawn none, lost 8, 4, 5, goals against 20, goal difference minus 15. It's going to be a tough season for those new sides, you would expect, especially, Burnley have been here before Rio, of course, but Luton and Sheffield, they've got their work cut out this year, haven't they?
Yeah, Luton especially, because we all know the story of them. And if you haven't seen the story, there is a rather good documentary on Sky about it. They plummeted down the leagues. They worked their way back up. But the infrastructure's not there. They're still reliant on the likes of Paddy, Ruddock and Panzer, who, I don't think he ever thought he'd be back anywhere near the Premier League when he was playing non-league football, as it was in the conference over at Victoria Road, Dagenham, Underhill, Barnet, it's a dream come true for them. But it is such a vast gap between the Championship and the Premier League, let alone working your way back up the various divisions, up the league ladder. It's a remarkable effort, but football's so financially skewed now. Anyone like we see with Norwich, how many times have they gone down? Augmented the parachute payments, came up, gone down. It's been a yo-yo effect. The gap between Championship level and Premier League level is so vast, it's unreal. Yeah. And when you've been in the situation Luton have, where almost out of business on a couple of occasions, and it's not that long ago in the past, it's just mental to see them back in this level. Yeah. And with the finances available to them, now even to try and bridge the gap in terms of players you can bring in, they can't be paying that big amount in wages. They must be paying peanuts compared to every other club in the top level, and possibly even in the Championship. You see some players like, I think, was it Barry Bannon's the highest paid player in one of the highest paid players in the Championship on 40-odd grand a week.
Yeah,
I can't really see Luton paying.
I mean, it's still an incredible amount of money. We're talking 2 million a year, but what a difference between the Premier League when you think, players like Danny Ings are earning in excess of £100,000 a week for playing 10 minutes. It's crazy, isn't it? Coming back very quickly, if I may, Rio, to the transfer window. Deadline is 40 minutes away. I think we can safely rule out any West Ham activity in terms of players coming in there, but we were still think that there was still a possibility that Maxwell Cornet might be leaving the club before the deadline. Everton was cited as expressing interest and having come back to West Ham about an hour or so ago during the match. We mentioned it. The BBC have retweeted a post by a journalist called Shamoun Hafez, who writes, I'm told Maxwell Cornet to Everton is not one that is happening with less than an hour remaining in the transfer window. So it looks like that very slim possibility of Cornet making that very, very last minute late move to Goodison Park is now off. And we think that is West Ham done in terms of ins and outs for the transfer window now. The move for Ekitike falling through earlier today. So Rio, as it stands, it looks like it's we've got Rice, Scamacca, Lanzini out, and Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, Kudus, and
the Greek fella
Konstantin Mavropanos. Stan to you and me, or Dinos to his friends. What do you make of the transfer window? What's your summary? Has it been a good window for West Ham? We must point out we've got we've made a profit in terms of transfer fees. But what do you make of it overall in terms of the quality of players coming in and the squad shape?
We've lost a world-class player, and we've got a British record fee for him. As I said earlier, we've not caved into clubs. We've supplemented and replaced Declan with 3 very good midfielders. We've seen in his brief appearances so far, Alvarez really does look the part. He looks solid, and unlike a lot of defensive midfielders we've tried in the past, he looks like he's got good ability on the ball as well as good leadership skills. He looks like he's right at home at the club as well. Yeah, a bit of a kind of footage you see behind the scenes. Everyone he talks in the media, he looks like he's loving life here already in his early incarnation at West Ham. James Ward-Prowse, I think many people, when he was first mentioned as a potential addition to the squad and almost a replacement for Declan, no one was excited. He's one of these players that you see week in, week out, who doesn't stand out when he was playing for Southampton, other than his set-piece ability. Yeah. But we've already seen the first 2 or 3 games. He offers a lot more than that. In terms of work rate, he delivers in spades. In terms of ability on the ball, he's got everything. He's one of these players who went under the radar in a lot of ways. But he looks right at home. Kudus has got all the potential in the world. I can't pronounce Mavropanos yet, So I'm not gonna, again, but
You're doing better with it than my Ekitiki, I think.
But what we see of him at Stuttgart, and obviously you don't watch that week in, week out the Bundesliga, but watching a lot of football, I took in a few more games than probably a lot of people did, and he always impressed. Very solid, very comfortable on the ball. Looks like him. In addition to Aguirre, we've got a team developing who can play very, very comfortably at the back, which is what David Moyes wanted last year. Obviously, we didn't have the right personnel, but we're moving towards that now. We've got players like Aguirre, the Greek fella, being able to deliver from the back, pass the ball through the lines, through the channels. We've got players in the middle like Paquetá, Fornal when he's available, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, plus our attacking players. Jared Bowen has started this season absolutely on fire at the moment. I know it's a kind of borrowing from a certain song, but last year after his journey away with England, he looked completely lost, unfit. He didn't look like the Jared Bowen we knew. This year he looks completely different, and he has a different mindset to last year as well.
Yeah,
he looks like he's taken a lot more responsibility. Everyone's come back following the European success in a buoyant mood. What could have crushed us in terms of losing a certain player, it hasn't affected us. Everyone looks like we're galvanised together. We're strengthened in key areas. And again, it's a positive. And 3 positive things in one night. It's very rare for one of these broadcasts. We actually say positive things. We're not had one negative to say tonight.
I think 3 in a year is unusual, let alone three in a night. It's
yeah.
So David Moyes is on the telly, by the way. If anyone's got Sky Sports on, he's just having a few words. Sorry, Rio. Apologies, but yeah, it's been quite incredible, isn't it? It's an unbelievable start to the season. Long may it continue. I can tell you that this is West Ham's joint highest points tally after their opening 4 games of a Premier League season. What was the other year, Rio? We took 10 points for the first 4 games. Any ideas? Premier League. We're talking Premier League era only. I love throwing these at you because I should stress to any of you watching, Rio's got absolutely no idea that I'm going to hurl these statistical questions at him. Yeah.
I was going to go back to that. It was it the year of 2000, 2001?
You're so close. You're a year out. 99, 2000. Yeah, it's a good get. You're right. It's Harry Redknapp era. Absolutely spot on.
Well, that was the year into Toto, and we had competitive matches in the build-up, I think.
Yes.
And we looked like incredibly sharp from the word go.
That was the Mets year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's when we played Mets and got through to the UEFA Cup. UEFA Cup, was it? What's the UEFA Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there you go. But it's another positive statistic to end the night on. We are going to end it there. As I say, David Moyes is having a chat now with Sky Sports, so we'll bring you the very best of Moyes' thoughts on KUMB.com in the next hour or so. We were also hoping to bring you news of a deadline day signing for West Ham, but it doesn't look like it's going to transpire that way. Apart from maybe the strange story of Andy Irving that you can read about on the KUMB homepage, player that it looks like we might be signing and sending straight back out on loan to the club, to his current club. But anyway, we'll get to the bottom of that and bring you all the info on KUMB over the course of the next 2 or 3 days. I think we'll leave it there, Rio. I mean, it doesn't look like there's anything happening on a transfer perspective for the Hammers. Final words. Sum up this evening for us, if you will.
Other than we are top of the league, I'm just going to say that it's been a bit of a tumultuous period since Prague. There's been a lot of negativity thrown around the club in the early stages from mid-June up until 3 weeks ago. But patience is a virtue. Trust the people in charge. Don't get sucked in by the social media frenzies. Now, we actually have a plan now. Tonight wasn't a great performance, but who cares when we've got 3 points in the bag? No, we're developing something really special here. let's enjoy it. Let's not criticise it.
Happy days. Great stuff. Thank you, Rio. Thank you for your company tonight. Also to Gnome, who had to dip out a little while ago. Good to have a few of us on the stream. It's been a while, hasn't it, since it's been either myself or just me and Rio. So it's nice to say. Thank you to everyone for joining us. A nice crowding tonight, actually. Thank you for all your comments. A few more people than usual. That's nice to see. If you haven't done so already, give us a little thumbs up. You've got about 30 seconds to do it. So underneath the video, just hit the thumbs up button for us if you could. Apparently it does us good on the channel, helps high rankings and all that stuff. AI, I don't know. It's all a mystery to me. It's all a mystery. West Ham are top of the Premier League. 4 games gone in the season. Drew at Bournemouth. We've since beat Chelsea. We've beat Brighton. We've now beat Luton Town. We are top of the Premier League. And fortunately, we've got a nice international break coming up, after which we've got a nice, easy game to come back to, Rio, haven't we?
Yeah. The potential top of the table clash against a certain bunch of superstars who must be terrified of the fact that a little club from East London with more fans than them are hot on their heels. Yeah,
indeed. We shall be back in a couple of weeks' time for the real City versus United. As Rio says, top of the table clash that one's going to be. Will West Ham still be top of the pile? Who knows? We'll find out over the course of the weekend. But it is an international break, so no football for the next couple of weeks. No West Ham anyway. We're not interested in England anymore now. We've got no players. Oh, very quickly, just before we go, Rio, what did you make of Jarrod Bowen being overlooked again by Gareth Southgate? Was that a surprise?
Yeah, it's one of many surprises for me. Again, there's been a very interesting debate on the forum, if anyone like to kind of read that, if they haven't done already, about Gareth Southgate and his England selection. I, for one, I'm a little bit disappointed Jarrod isn't going, only for Jarrod's sake. If it keeps him fresh for West Ham, Gareth, don't even bother coming watching us.
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised. I mean, he said I think when you look and you see players like Maguire and Kelvin Phillips in the squad, you know, it's some people might argue, yes, it's you know, that Southgate's not had long enough to look at players, and you know, we're only 3 or 4 games into the season. But I think as an international manager, I like to see players included on, you know, on form or informed players, including Bowen. Certainly one of the Premier League's most informed.
Yeah, if you're not good enough for your club, you're not good enough for your country.
Too right. Couldn't agree more. On that note, we're going to leave it. So thank you to Rio and to Gnome for their company this evening. Thank you to everybody who joined us on the live stream to watch West Ham go back to the top of the Premier League. We might not have signed any players, but we don't need to. We're massive. We're that big. We don't need any more new signings. We'll be back with you in, as I say, a couple of weeks' time. Until then, my friends, be good, look after yourselves, have fun, and enjoy the Hammers being top of the league. Until then, come on, you Irons.